stadium turf called Gately Stadium. It was like falling on cement in your driveway. There was not these plush turf fields. So just those memories and the excitement of can't wait to get on the field to play a game against your opponent just bring back great memories, which I'll explain how old I have my 40th reunion coming up in 2 weeks. So I'm getting up there in age, so yes.
You guys look great for your age, by the way. Fantastic.
Now, Gabe mentioned that you own Station 21, one of Crown Point's most beloved restaurants.
Yes, with my sister.
Yeah. What are your guys' favorite menu items? Been wondering this all week.
Wow. Well, I'm a steak and potato guy, so for me, it's either when the family goes there, I'm either getting, filet tips or a bistro steak or pork chops. Keeping it pretty simple.
And I'm a fish guy, so the lake perch there at Station 21 is my favorite. And the funny thing is, between me and David, we've established such a bond being on the school board together for years that I literally, when I finish a meal there, will text them and let them know what's good or bad. And if something happens to be just a little bit off, I let them know that, because a lot of people won't let you know. And how can you improve something if you're not honest to let them know? And it's usually something so minor. Hey, and the first thing he says, "Thanks for letting me know, Scott."
And let me tell you, with Scott Angel, it doesn't matter if it's about the food or whatever, he'll let you know. So which is an enormously positive characteristic from Scott.
You'll get to know me. I do not sugarcoat anything. You're going to get the truth, and you're going to get it just the way it should be said.
That's an amazing character trait to have, if I would say so.
Sometimes, though, depending on who you're with, might not be the best approach to take.
I have one more question for you guys. Predictions. What are we thinking tonight? Merrillville Pirates, Crown Point Bulldogs, one of the best Pirate teams we've seen in a while. Coach Buzz said that earlier in the week. What are we thinking predictions-wise?
All right, well, let me say that amongst a group chat of a bunch of my buddies that follow high school football across the state, they wanted some bold statements to start the year. Bold statement for me and the Crown Point Bulldogs that we weren't going to give up a first half point to the conference this season. That's going to be a tremendous challenge tonight, but that's what I'm looking for.
This is their toughest game remaining on the regular season schedule. I do think it'll be a battle. This won't be one of the typical Crown Point blowouts we've had over the last 2 years. I'm expecting 24-3, 24-7, but I do think the Dogs will be victorious.
Well, guys, I thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your predictions. Thank you for all your insight. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, I got a chance to sit down with Coach Buzz. He talked to me about his journey, how in 5 years he's turned this program around. That, next on Game Night. Stay with us.
Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Bulldog Network. The Crown Point Bulldogs and the Merrillville Pirates tonight. I got a chance to sit down with Coach Buzz on Wednesday, and he discussed how everything within the program has changed within the first 5 years of his coaching stint.
He wants to go deep, and it's caught. Coach Bones has to go for it on that position of the field and call that play action. Wow.
All right. See ya.
All right, Coach, going into year 5, tell me about the evolution of this program, the culture, because you've changed the culture here. Expectations are getting bigger and bigger. People are expecting more and more from your team year by year. Tell me about the evolution of the program since you got here.
Well, obviously, I think we've grown since day one when we took over. But I mean, it's just one of those things that we try to establish something that we're believers in, and thought that maybe you could get to the program to where it is this level, and now it's just a little bit harder to maintain it than it is to build it, and that's where we're at right now. But our guys are they're all in, they're all for it. They know what the expectations of this program, and they're ready for the challenge.
All right, the question Bulldog Nation wants to know. Quarterback situation. It's been, I think you've been put in a tough situation here. We've seen Tice Custody and Cooper Mulaski splitting reps. Has there been any kind of decision on maybe who's going to get the majority of the reps yet?
Well, first of all, as a coach, I don't really think it's a tough decision because we have two really quality quarterbacks, right? And our job is to find a way to get those guys on the field and put them in a position where they could succeed. I think a lot of people have used that old saying that you have two, you don't have any. I feel like if you have two, it's really helped us in regards to our preparation, our game planning, knowing that we have two guys. If one goes down, they're taking equal reps. So it's a good situation. I think you'll continue to see two quarterbacks, and who knows, you might even see one or two more. So let's see what happens on Friday. But right now we're happy with the situation, and I think both of those guys will continue to grow and succeed.
You've dominated the DAC for the last 3 years. The media narrative right now is the Dogs playing the weakest conference in all of Indiana. Does your team, do you, coaches, any of you guys pay attention to that stuff? Does that affect your team?
No, we was saying in our locker room, it's a big sign on there that says ignore the noise, right? We can't really change anybody's narrative. We can't, I think a lot of it is because people say that just because of how we've dominated, right? And how we've rolled through it. Doesn't mean it's a weak conference.
Tony, if for some reason you jetted up the field, yes, but that wasn't a jet.
And on the topic of Merrillville, I think this team, we see them go to Loyola Academy. They only lose by a touchdown. They're up by safety at halftime. Do you feel this is a tougher Merrillville team than past years? Oh,
no doubt. I think this is the best Merrillville team that we've played since we were down 50-0 5 years ago to them at halftime. It's definitely a challenge. They've looked outstanding the first two games. I think it all starts with their quarterback. Their quarterback is probably the biggest game changer in our conference, and we're going to have to find a way to corral him. Very similar to what we did last week to Pike's quarterback. Dynamic player, but he has a ton of receivers to throw to. They do a lot of up-tempo stuff where our defense is going to have to be ready for. They certainly will be challenged this week. And then, offensively, obviously, anytime you go against a Merrillville team, you're playing against some aggressive, hard-hitting guys, and we're going to have to do a good job of negating that as well. But I think this, by far, is going to be our biggest test that we've had probably in the last 3 years.
One of the biggest X factors, difference makers, Trevor Gibbs, committed to Indiana University just a few months ago. What can you tell me about his 4 years here? You even praised him, saying he's one of the best players to ever come through this program. What can you say about him?
He's a difference maker, and after I met him in 8th grade, and he was a little roly-poly 8th grader, playing offensive line, and saw him come in Christmas and catch some balls. We immediately said, you're no longer an offensive lineman, and the rest is history. And everything Trevor gets, he has earned. I mean, there was no question about it. He is the epitome of what I think a Crown Point football player should be. That's great off the field, hardworking, does more than what we ask him to do, and sometimes we even have to slow him down because he's just go. But it's been a pleasure to coach him, and looking forward to the rest of the time with him.
So kind of touching on an earlier question, what has been the key in terms of your team to restoring back the excitement and the energy to Friday nights here at Crown Point?
Well, obviously winning helps. You know, people all want to back a winner, but I think you know, more than that, we've tried very, very hard to make this a Friday nights to be a community night. We want people to rally around it, whether we're doing awareness nights or honoring people or you know, just making the atmosphere fun. You know, we want people to come to the game and have fun, and we try to do that, whether it's with the music or the scoreboard or whatever.
And then you with having a Hall of Fame career in Indiana and Illinois, what do you hope your legacy to be when you hang up the whistle?
I've really never stopped and thought about that, right? It's just something that's never really crossed my mind. I just feel like we treated our players like young men and got them ready for what they're going to do in the future. Education, whatever career path they want, they understand that we're going to help them. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog, and that's really what I want to be remembered as.
My idol. 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to game night, ladies and gentlemen. The Crown Point Bulldogs and the Merrillville Pirates. We will be back for our third and final segment of game night here on the Bulldog Network. Stay with us, ladies and gents.
Some see a student athlete working on his shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to game night here in Crown Point. The 2-0 Crown Point Bulldogs and the 1-1 Merrillville Pirates. We have a great one for you guys coming up in 15 minutes. Me, Gabe Trevino, and him, Braden Zamoyski, in the booth. Stay with us on the Bulldog Network.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Some people see a huddle in the locker room. We see a second classroom. Some see a student athlete on the court. We see a future leader in the community. You see, high school sports in Indiana are special. That's because they're about learning and growing, not just winning and losing. Fans, I'm Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support education-based athletics in Indiana by buying a ticket to your high school's next athletic event.
Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together, proud to keep education in front of athletics.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together, proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together, proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome, Bulldog Network here. I'm Gabe Tripp. He is Braden Sapoyski. We have the Crown Point Bulldogs and 1-1 Merrillville Pirates here tonight. On the night, we did not get to talk about our key game, so Braden got it inside here in the booth. I think the key to this game we were talking about throughout the week, run game, both teams, Crown Point and Merrillville. Merrillville, Ja'Quarius Johnson, unbelievable athletic running back, as Coach Buzz told us earlier in the week. And on Crown Point side, Braden Stutt, who has 6 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 150 yards per game in just 2 games.
I don't think that's where the story ends with these running backs. You have Cameron Jordan on Merrillville's side. And then you have Max Germick on Crown Point side. So both teams have 2 sets of running backs that are dynamic, physical, and I think they're going to change the game for either team.
I think you're totally right. I think the run game is what's going to decide tonight's game. I think in our studying leading up to the week, Merrillville's pass game, we really haven't seen much. Michael Hill Jr., the quarterback, transfer from Mount Carmel, who I believe is number 2 in the state of Illinois right now, a talent at quarterback, which Coach Buzz also mentioned in our interview earlier this week. But Crown Point, I think, has the sizable advantage in the pass game tonight.
You know, I might have to one-up you there, Gabe. I think they're number 1 in the state. But I would agree with you. I think we have a passing advantage. But Michael Smoot, that's the key for Merrillville. Fast receiver, deep threat, something that I don't think Crown Point's ever faced or ever seen.
I think the defense, well, since last year, Dominic Fanton being the main defensive back on defense, Oscar Biasi, who was a receiver last year, senior this year, is now on defense. So I think cornerbacks have improved since last year. That was the big thing that we talked about last year. It was the big, no-show really on the Crown Point team, but especially on the defense. I think the cornerbacks have improved greatly. I think they'll be able to stop the Pirates tonight in the pass game. The question is the run game. Let's move to the Crown Point offense. Austin Reading, hurt in practice. We don't have any information on his injury. However, he is out, which moves Logan Howard to left tackle and moves Nolan Cicero, who was at left tackle, to left guard. Do you think that has a big impact on tonight's game?
I think it does. You have Logan Howard, who is a junior, but not very experienced at a varsity level, and against a game where he's going to have to be top-notch. He's going to have to be at the top of his game, hardest game that the Dogs have had on their schedule in the regular season. I don't want to say so far because they've only played 3 games, but in the regular season, looking ahead, this is the hardest game on the matchup. This is the one you circle on the calendar, you mark it, you want to know when that date comes. And I think for Logan Howard, it's his day today.
He's gotten a start so far this season. He's gotten 1. This is his 2nd tonight. He has some experience. I did hear from multiple sources that he was struggling in practice this week, so it is maybe something that caused some worry. But I think the Bulldogs overall will be totally okay tonight. I think the Bulldogs do fine tonight against the Pirates. However, again, run game is going to be the key. I think defensive line, also something we forgot to mention. We think this defensive line and the offensive line for the Bulldogs, the trenches, some of the best we've seen in years.
I would absolutely agree. In a game that's going to be won or lost in the trenches, you have that, and then you have the best offensive and defensive line. Should fare well for the Bulldogs.
I think Nolan Cicero moving the left guard. That's going to be interesting to watch. unbelievable talent and unbelievable player committed to Ball State. But it's going to be interesting to see that transition from tackle to guard for him. And Logan Howard, although he's gotten a start this season, it's going to be interesting to see the junior come in and start in a big position, replacing Nolan Cicero.
And that's not an easy name to replace. Ball State commit, obviously big name for Crown Point. And another big name, we haven't talked about him yet, Trevor Gibbs.
Trevor Gibbs, IU commit, Indiana University committed last year during the spring. I think that for the Bulldogs, that's their big X factor on offense. I think Braden Scott is also in there. Everyone's talking about Trevor Gibbs, IU commit. He's an incredible talent. He's huge. He's just strong. But Braden Scott, for me, right now, is the X factor with how good the run game is for the Bulldogs.
I don't even think you can give one X factor to this Crown Point team. We keep bringing up more and more guys, but I think that's what we have to do. We're going to bring up AJ Summers. Coach Buzz, we went out to practice earlier this week, and Coach Buzz is brewing some stuff up with AJ Summers, Trevor Gibbs at quarterback under center, and I think we should see some of that tonight.
I think also moving the skill positions now, Caden Smith, the receiver. We have Logan Urbiak, a receiver too. But also the quarterback battle. That's everything that Bulldog Nation wants to know. We saved that for last, of course, ladies and gentlemen, being the biggest topic of all. Tice Custy of Valparaiso transfer, and Cooper Mulaski, who's been in this program for a while now, believe it or not, Braden. I did play with him on the freshman football team. He's a tall kid, really talented quarterback. I asked Coach Buzz in our interview, as you've seen on the pregame show, he didn't give me a clear answer. It looks like it's going to stay the same. Cooper Mulaski, Tice Custy, splitting reps for tonight. But in your eyes, who's the more talented quarterback?
You know, I don't think it's black and white, right? There's a reason why we don't have a starter yet. I think both quarterbacks are good at different things, right? I think Cooper has the better deep ball, but you can't deny, right? Tice Custy being a wideout and now being a quarterback. Obviously, kid's an athlete.
Yeah, I think the quarterback position, obviously the biggest so far for the Crown Point Bulldogs. I think their defense is going to have to play a big role. And we're going to head to a quick break for the national anthem. Stay with us on the Bulldog Network.
Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Network here tonight. The 2-0 Crown Point Bulldogs and the 1-1 Merrillville Pirates. We have a great game set for you tonight. A possible DAC decider tonight. This early in the season, you're saying, what? 3 games in? Yeah, that's right. It seems to be that Merrillville is going to be the Bulldogs' biggest competitor this season. Valparaiso, maybe a second, but not a close second in my eyes. Braden, I want to move to the DAC on the topic of the conference. I think that so far, the Bulldogs in 5 years of Coach Buzz have totally dominated it. They aren't bothered. The team isn't bothered. He isn't bothered. No one's bothered by it. But there's been a lot of talk about the DAC being weak. Do you agree with that notion?
I don't think you can't call the DAC weak, Gabe. You have Crown Point and you have Merrillville, and then there's a drop-off, right? We've seen Lowell beat Merrillville in their scrimmage, right? Scrimmage doesn't really mean anything. We went in and we beat Lowell handedly. Then Lowell went in and beat LaPorte handedly. So obviously there's something going on there, and I think that's just the testament to how the DAC has been. And when you have such a wide variety of areas in one conference, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, you hit it spot on. You hit it on the nail. I think that there's such a big gap between the top of the conference and the bottom of the conference. Teams like LaPorte and Michigan City haven't been able to compete in years in the DAC. It seems like it's just been Crown Point, Crown Point, Crown Point. I think possibly tonight here, the Merrillville Pirates can give the Bulldogs a great show.
And this is a test we haven't seen for the Bulldogs in years, right? A lot of these kids have not played a fourth quarter of football since maybe, I would say, Ben Davis or Westfield, right? Other than that, you haven't played a full 4 quarters of starters in a while.
Let's go over the Bulldogs' schedule. They beat Lowell 38-7 in Week 1, a win they handled well, and then they go on the road in Indianapolis, almost a 3-hour drive away to Pike, and win 21-0. They were up 14-0 in the fourth quarter. So to your point, I guess besides Pike, yeah, fourth quarter play hasn't been much, and for the Pirates, they beat and drained 41-14 in Week 1. Not much of a competition, and then they go to Chicago, Loyola Academy, and they only lose by a touchdown. And Braden, if I'm not mistaken, they were up in the fourth quarter.
They were up in the fourth quarter. The score was 13-14 because Loyola had got a safety on them earlier, and I think that's the other aspect to this fourth quarter game for Crown Point. Merrillville has shown now this season that they can handle themselves in a pressure fourth quarter situation, and it's a situation we don't know if Crown Point can handle.
Crown Point, as you said, has not seen many, at least the starters have not seen many fourth quarter positions. We're going to see, is it going to be Tice Custy? Is it going to be Cooper Mulaski? Who is going to be the guy if it does come down to that fourth quarter matchup? I think personally it's going to be a great game tonight. I'm really excited to see, first, who starts, and second, who ends at quarterback.
I think I'm going to throw in a wild card, Chase Horton, at you.
Wow.
That's a third guy that Coach Bazia has said to not cut out of this race, that this kid is a sophomore, but he's battle-tested, and he is ready.
We saw him in practice. We did a lot of shots with him. He looked really good in practice. He wasn't practicing with the starters. He was Custy and Mulaski with the starting offense, with the scout defense. But it looks like Chase Horton, he looks good. Maybe not on the level of Custy and Mulaski, at least in my eyes. But in Coach Buzz's eyes, in the interview, he did say, don't rule out the third option of Chase Horton. And in terms of, again, the Crown Point skill positions, Braden Scott being the big one, the running back. Again, 145.5 yards, averaging in the first 2 games, 6 touchdowns. What can you say about him? He's a beast.
I think the only word, and you used it perfectly on the pregame show, is dog. This kid is a dog, and there's a reason why he's gotten to be that running back one spot here in his junior year. There's a reason why he's ran so well, and he's a physical guy. He's short. He's like a honey badger. He's short. He's physical. Once he gets his legs moving, there's no stopping him.
Believe it or not, Braden, I also played with him on the freshman football team. I played with Cooper Mulaski and Braden Scott. You know, funny story, I tried to tackle that guy at the goal line one time. Ladies and gentlemen, I gave up. I didn't even try and tackle him. He came at me. I just stepped aside and let him go. And Coach Bruno, the head coach of the freshman football team, said, Gabe, what are you doing? Tackle him. I just said to his face, Coach, I'm not tackling Scott. He is that big of he's just short and stocky. He's a powerful runner, and he's gonna have a great competition tonight with Jaquarius Johnson on the other side.
I think that is a perfect story, and I feel like it's a story that kids from Lowell and kids from Pike can both relate to as he ran all over them in the first 2 weeks of football.
I think it's going to be a great matchup tonight. Captains are headed out to the middle of the field and now headed back to their sidelines. Trevor Gibbs, Dominic Fenton, Mark Gonzalez, and Nolan Cicero, the captains for the Crown Point Bulldogs. We are almost set for kickoff on a, by the way, Braden, beautiful fall night. This is great weather for football.
We were outside earlier today. We've been outside almost all afternoon, and I would say this is what you think of. You think of high school football. You think of this weather. It's a little chilly outside, but once you get the body moving, you're in the student section getting fired up. It's perfect.
Fantastic. And if any of you guys saw on the pregame show, we had the student section, basically the whole student section, come down to our table. I couldn't stop smiling, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fantastic environment here in Crown Point. The Pirates will receive the opening kickoff. Oliver Brewer, the junior kicker, here tonight to kick it off and kick off the first home game for the Crown Point Bulldogs.
Yeah, and this kid has been amazing. Varsity player since his freshman year, also the star goalie of the soccer team. This kid is dual sport athlete, great student athlete. He's amazing.
A great night for rivalry football. Oliver Brewer boots this one into the end zone. Again, just a powerful leg into the end zone on the opening kickoff, and the Merrillville Pirates will start on their own 20-yard line. Braden, what are you looking for out of the Merrillville offense to start?
I think that we've pointed it perfectly through a pregame show and now our keys of the game here, and that's run the football. Test these dogs early, get on the board early, something they weren't able to do against Loyola. Get on the board early and show that these dogs aren't as tough as people say they are.
Michael Hill Jr., the starting quarterback for the Merrillville Pirates, a junior. He's not played too bad this year, but really a dual threat, can run the ball if he wants to. Jaquarius Johnson to his left in the backfield. They will go to him on the first play. Up the middle, breaks a few tackles, runs into Trevor Gibbs. He's going to carry a few Bulldogs with them, and Jaquarius Johnson has a 12-yard pickup on the first play of the game.
Wow, just wow. I mean, we've been hyping this kid up for a week. I didn't know if the hype was real, but through one play, 12 yards, and he broke a couple tackles on that, too, in the backfield.
They're going tempo here. He carried, by the way, Trevor Gibbs with him. A few other Bulldogs at that, too, with a little bit of help from his offensive line. Hill takes the snap. Another handoff, this time to the left side. Here comes Johnson. Good, no missed tackles by the Bulldogs. Pushed out of bounds after a 6-yard gain here for the Pirates. Good start for this run game that we talked about very highly of.
And normally that's not a situation you see that Griffin Van Tischel talking to Carson Cavalcante after the play, because normally that's a tackle that would result in the loss of yardage for the Bulldogs.
Rowan Treasurer, Trevor Gibbs, and Griffin Van Tischel at linebacker tonight, along with Ben Clark. Hill back to throw. That one down the right hash, and that's caught at the 45-yard line. A good catch made by Mikkel Smoot, who you talked about in the pregame. Another first down for the Pirates.
Yes, and just moving this ball efficiently. They say when you run the ball, it opens up the pass game, and that was clear indication right there.
And we're seeing early here, tempo from the Pirates. They're going to go 1st and 10 at their own 45. A handoff here to Cameron Jordan, and Jordan will get up to midfield, just past midfield for a 6-yard gain. They're just getting steady chunks right now, Braden.
This D-line being tested early, but we also have to look at the Merrillville front. This O-line for Merrillville through just the chunk of this game has been very well, and there's a reason why they run the ball so well.
Rynell Lewis, the tight end, on the far side of the field coming in motion. And a bad snap here, and a flag is down. Looks like the play will be blown dead. And first mistake from the Pirates offense, much needed for the Bulldogs. And full start on the Pirates will push them back 5, 2nd and 10, back at their own 45.
I would almost argue that the Pirates got lucky there with that false start flag. A ball gets loose, and no one knows what's going on. So the fact that play was blown dead, it's a dead ball, kind of a saving grace for them right there.
Now Hill again in the gun. He's going to take a snap, another flag down, and the play is blown dead once again. Could it be back-to-back full starts on the Pirates? This would greatly help the Bulldog defense, who maybe kind of got shocked with the amount of tempo that Crown Point is coming out on, but it's going to be a neutral zone infraction on the Bulldog defense, so they get those 5 yards right back.
Yeah, and just mistakes by the Bulldogs, something that Coach Buzz, when we went to practice, was preaching that they could not make mistakes. And now you see that costing them here in a game where every yard is going to matter.
Jaquarius Johnson again in the backfield, right in front of Hill. Lewis in motion, and 3 flags in a row now. Bulldogs signaling it's another Pirates penalty, and it will be another false start on the Pirates. So 3 in a row. They're going to go back 5, up 5, and back 5 again.
Back to where they kind of started, I guess. The start of this drive was right there. Still second down. Been 3 plays, still second down.
Amir Plowden, Mark Gonzalez, and Joshua Daniels on the D-line for the Bulldogs, running a three-man front. Tonight, Carson Cavalcante, Oscar Biasi at corner tonight. Hill in the gun, 2nd and 10 from his own 45. Handoff to Johnson. Johnson up the middle. Gonzalez right there along with Gibbs. A gain of 1 or 2 on the play. It's 3rd and 8 now for the Pirates.
Trevor Gibbs tried to get his arms in there on Smoot when he tried,
on Johnson
when he tried to truck, and he tried to rip that ball out. I actually thought that Trevor Gibbs had gotten that football, but now 3rd down.
Cam Jordan, who, by the way, is the leading receiver for the Pirates at running back. His natural position is running back, but he is the leading receiver for the Pirates. Off to Hill's left. 3rd and 8, big 3rd down early for the Pirates. Hill back to throw. He throws, tipped in the air. It's intercepted. No, it's dropped. Nearly an incredible play by Dominic Fenton. Tipped in the air, nearly intercepted, and the Pirates will punt it away.
That reminds me of that play in that Notre Dame-Miami game last week. Triple tip, tried to catch that football, but great play by this Dogs secondary, which is something that I just talked about in the pregame. And I think for it to come out strong here, force a 4th down for this Merrillville team, now Crown Point just has to capitalize on offense.
Darian Wiggins on the punt for the Pirates. Dominic Fenton, Griffin Van Tischel, high snap, barely gets it off with Gibbs coming in. Fenton calls for a fair catch and makes the fair catch at around the 17-yard line. And that is where the Bulldog offense will start their home season. And the big question is, who's going to be coming out to start at quarterback for the Bulldogs? Any predictions, Braden?
I mean, my bet's on Cooper Mulaski.
It's going to be Tice Custy. Here he comes out on the field. Braden Scott at running back. Caden Smith, Logan Urbianak at wideout with Anderson Keller and Ben Keller in at the H and tight end slots. 1st and 10 at their own 17. Custy, big motion here with 3 guys, and a flag is down. Cicero and Zach Clark, as well as Ben Keller in motion. Officials discussing what the call could be, maybe a legal motion here. And it will be on Merrillville, a neutral zone infraction, so a free 5 yards for the Bulldogs. So they move up to the 22, 1st and 5.
And there is that pre-snap motion. Tice had a hard count, moved the guys, and Merrillville jumped off sides.
Tice Custy in the gun. Scott, they're going to do the same motion here. Merrillville doesn't jump this time. They're going to hand it off to Scott. Scott's going to try and get outside, takes a big hit, and is down right back at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs.
This is going to be a dogfight for Crown Point, and I think Braden Scott realized there that this isn't Lowell. He's not just going to find a hole and hit it. He's got to work for it, and I think he's up to that task.
So now Cooper Mulaski, looks like he's coming in maybe at tight end. They are using Mulaski at tight end, by the way, and playing quarterback. He played receiver last year on varsity. Trevor Gibbs in for his first snap on offense. Going to be very interesting to see Logan Howard on that offensive line that we talked about. Play action. Custy going to throw. His receiver falls down. It was Mulaski. And it looks like Buzz wants a flag there on the Pirates defense. None thrown. 3rd and 5. Early 3rd down for the Bulldogs.
Looked like Cooper got tripped up there. But, you know, Tice making a great read and ultimately making a good throw. Just Cooper got a little bit of interference there as he went to go make that play.
So Braden Scott and Cooper Mulaski checking out of the game. And here comes Alex Rodriguez in for Tice Custy. So it looks like the Bulldogs are going with, look, I forget what Mireille called it, but some sort of formation. They split out quick here. Direct snap up the middle, and it's going to get stuffed by Damian Jones up the middle by the Merrillville defense. And the Bulldogs, are they going to punt it away? Offense still out there. Coach Buzz making a decision. It's about 4th and 6 for the Bulldogs, and they will send out the punt team. An early stop from the Merrillville defense.
I understand what Buzz is trying to get at with trick plays early, but just seems like a bad situation to be in, and ultimately now you have to punt the ball away. It's just a turnover. Could have, in my mind, could have made a better play decision there.
On 3rd and 5, Buzz's play calls usually work out in his favor, especially tricky ones like that one. Didn't work out that time. Big punt here from Brewer. Good return here. He's going to try and get outside to around the 46-yard line. A good return, and the Pirates going to start at around the 46-yard line, a 30-yard punt from Oliver Brewer.
Now, you know, Gabe, I talked to Oliver earlier today. He told me he was a little sore, wasn't really feeling it. That punt doesn't look like a punter who's sore.
Great punt to start the game. Warren Brown, by the way, on the return there for the Pirates. A solid, maybe 10-yard return. And the defense back out there after a third down stop. It seemed like the defense kind of got shocked, and then they woke right back up and got that third down stop.
I think that's going to happen in any game of this magnitude. First conference game, and for it to be this one, it's a big one.
1st and 10, their own 46. Lewis comes in motion. Hill takes the snap. Handoff to Johnson. Johnson going to go up the middle. Lots of red there in the middle for a 3-yard gain.
I think you're going to see Crown Point's defense settle in a little bit, right? Obviously, emotions are high early, and especially in a run game like this, you got to get down and dirty, got to get physical, and I think that's going to be something that the Crown Point defense will ultimately do later in this game.
Cameron Jordan back in, running back. Seems like him and Johnson are going to be switching out every few plays at running back. Jordan going to take this one outside, going to get near the first down marker. Going to be about maybe a yard and a half short here. So another big third down, and the Pirates into Bulldog territory.
Yeah, that was a great run by Cameron Jordan, and ultimately the tempo Merrillville plays is something that's ultimately like a big notice to me. They play a fast tempo offense.
Cam Jordan again in, going quick on 3rd and 1. Hill back to throw, has time, going down the field, wide open. He had a man. It is incomplete. And that was Oscar Biasi that really got ran on by Mikkel Smoot. You said in the pregame, he's dangerous, he's quick. He got out in front of Biasi. Lucky he was overthrown.
That's just what you're going to get sometimes with a little bit of an inexperienced secondary. Sometimes off the line they're going to get beat, and that's exactly what happened there.
The Pirates going for it on 4th and 1 at the Bulldog 46. Handoff to Johnson, trying to get outside. Johnson, will he get there? He will not. He is short by about half a yard, and a great stop by the Bulldog defense, trying to swing some of the early momentum their way.
That's Ben Clark running right to his sideline. He let the sideline know that they did not get that first down, and to me it looked like they barely even got back to the line of scrimmage.
Close, maybe a half yard there. Official spotting the ball, so the Bulldogs will start on their own 45. So Custy came in to start at quarterback first possession. It looks like Mulaski now coming in for the second possession. Are we going to see every other possession these guys switch out? I mean, maybe Mulaski's in on the second drive, Custy in on the first drive. Scott, the same running back in the backfield. Mulaski, that tall 6'7" frame, squatting down, and it will be false start on the first play of the drive for the Bulldogs.
You got to think with the quarterback situation, as soon as one quarterback does something that Coach Buzz may not like, put the other guy in, and then vice versa, right?
Cooper Mulaski got tripped up last drive on that third down where they ran what seemed to be a wildcat, and Coach Buzz wanted maybe a pass interference call there. Officials discussing the call. Now the main official coming to the near side official, discussing the call. I saw initially from the far sideline, the Merrillville sideline line judge, that he signaled false start, and they are going to pick up the flag, so no flag on the Bulldogs. Catching a little break so we can get back to playing. They're going quick, 1st and 10. Mulaski under center. Standing up and coming over is Ben Keller. Handoff to Scott, and Scott is stopped in his tracks. Man, it seemed like he was going to get out there, but a great tackle by the D-line of the Pirates, 2nd and 10.
The D-line able just shedding that block, but, I mean, you said it best. If he doesn't get tackled there, he's gone. And that's that speed out of Scott that is going to propel the Bulldogs into a really good spot this game.
Absolutely. Logan Urbianek subbing out of the game. Mulaski getting the call from the sideline, coming into the huddle to give it to the rest of the offense. Smith comes out first. Connor Cavalcante, Caden Smith, the only ones out. Now everybody comes back out. 2nd and 10 Pulaski in the gun this time. Hand off to Scott. Scott breaks outside. Scott, oh, barely. He gets ankle tackled, and if that wasn't made, Braden Scott very well could have been gone. About a 7-yard gain there for Braden Scott, 3rd and 3.
He's a kid where he gets hot, he gets smoking hot, and we should see that soon. Couple breakaway runs, and soon enough, I think you'll find him in the end zone.
Warren Brown with an excellent tackle on the outside on one of the faster running backs we've seen. Braden Scott, by the way, a wrestler, and you can see that in his frame. Short and stocky, very strong, as we said in the pregame. Pulaski in the gun, handoff to Scott again, trying to pow his way forward. Did he get there? He did not. I don't even know if he got back to the line of scrimmage. It will be 4th and short. Now decision time for Coach Buzz in the offense.
And Scott actually being made contact with looked about a yard or two behind the line of scrimmage, and just, like I call him a honey badger, fighting forward, ended up being able to get back to that line of scrimmage to salvage whatever he could.
Now Amir Plowden, Ben Clark, and Mark Gonzalez coming out on what seems to be offense. Trevor Gibbs is going to take the direct snap here. 4th and 2 for the Bulldogs. A heavy package. Gibbs goes up the middle. Gibbs has got it and more. Runs over a Pirate in his way. Inside the 40, a big first down pickup for the Bulldogs.
I heard all offseason that Trevor Gibbs was getting reps at running back. I saw it in practice on Tuesday. I said to myself, I haven't seen it through 2 weeks of football, There it is right there. You put some D linemen out on the O-line, and that's what happens.
Amir Plowden, Mark Gonzalez, Ben Clark. Mark Gonzalez and Amir Plowden, 2 really big guys on defense. 2 D linemen, Mark Gonzalez being the nose guard on defense, and they come out to the sideline. Ben Clark celebrating with Amir Plowden and Mark Gonzalez down on the sideline. Pulaski in the gun again. They're going to go direct snap again to Gibbs. That was full dare, and there goes Gibbs running over Pirates inside the 25. Another first down pickup for the Bulldogs.
There's that trick play that Buzz was working on this week at the boys with practice. Trevor Gibbs takes the direct snap off center, and Cooper Mulaski fakes the handoff right to Scott. You should see them running that a couple more times this game. That was a really effective play.
So 1st and 10 from the 25. The Bulldogs are now within striking distance. Have we seen a pass play yet out of Cooper Mulaski? I do not think so. It's been all runs so far. Direct snap to Trevor Gibbs twice here on this drive. Mulaski coming back into the huddle. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Pirate 25. Trevor Gibbs checking out of the game. Goes to someone on the sideline. He seemed to be holding up his elbow. Should be okay. Max Gurnick in the game now. Handoff up the middle. He's going to plow forward and gain a good chunk of yards. 3 or 4 on the play. And it's 2nd and 7 for the Bulldogs.
Great run by Max Gurnick. Just getting some yardage early on a drive never hurts.
Gurnick with a nice 3-yard pickup. Anderson Keller checking out of the game. Logan Urbianak, Trevor Gibbs, of course, back in. Gurmick remains the back in the game. Mulaski looking towards the sideline for the call. Bulldogs within striking distance. The deepest either one of these teams has gotten into their enemy territory. Gibbs seems to be almost under center again. And no flag, no, maybe a timeout called by Buzz. There seemed to be some motion confusion there. And a timeout called by the Bulldogs. Some confusion there on that play.
That's something we've seen early with this Crown Point team. Not afraid to use timeouts in the first quarter. They used, I think, almost all 3 timeouts in the first quarter against Pike last week. And, sometimes you just got to calm the boys down. And with the offense that Crown Point runs, they change formations. They motion a lot. Sometimes you're not where you need to be, not where you're supposed to be. Perfect time for a timeout.
Sun setting here over Crown Point, Indiana. 3 minutes and 2 seconds to go. If you're just joining us, 0-0 between the Merrillville Pirates and the Crown Point Bulldogs so far. It's been a lot of run game as we predicted in the pregame show and up here in the booth when we briefly talked about our keys to the game. It's been the run game so far, Zamoyski.
Yes, sir, it has been, Gabe. And I think that's the kind of football I like. I mean, we're both Big Ten guys, and that's Big Ten football right there.
Absolutely. So 2nd and 7 is the situation for the Bulldogs at the Pirate 22-yard line, the deepest either one of these teams has gotten into their enemy territory. Seems to be going to the same set they've been going to all of the first quarter. Mulaski going to hand off to Braden Scott. Excuse me, that's Max Germick. I beg your pardon. He's going to get down inside the 15, and it will be another Bulldog first down, getting closer and closer to that end zone.
The Bulldogs have been able to find success running to the outside. Obviously, this interior D-line for Merrillville, very big, very strong. We've seen that in past years as well. Maybe that should be Crown Point's keys for later in this game is stretch those runs, get to the outside, try to beat those DBs.
Could be a point of attack in Coach Buzz's offense tonight. Again, Germick in the backfield. Mulaski, it's going to be a direct snap again. The Gibbs being plowed forward by the offensive line all the way down inside the 5. Maybe they do pick up the first down. It looks to be maybe just short, but maybe the nose of a football, so we'll call it 2nd and inches at the 5. Hurry up offense going back to Gibbs, up the middle. Gibbs going all the way in, and he will stand up in the end zone. A dominant drive on the ground. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Trevor Gibbs dominating in the run game this time.
I told you we would see that play again. We saw it on 4th down. They run it twice in a row with a hurry up in between, and that's the result. You got a touchdown, and it's 6-0, about to be 7-0.
Bulldogs going to weird formation here. They did this last year, maybe trying to confuse the Pirates here. Brewer is on the kick, but the line seems to be spread out. Mulaski to hold the extra point. Brewer been excellent kicking the ball, and it looks like the Pirates may have jumped there. The officials have not thrown a flag from what I can see, but they will call neutral zone infraction. Once again, offside on the Pirates, so do the Bulldogs go for 2 here, take advantage of the penalty. Mulaski looking to the sideline. Now directing the kick team, the offense, whatever it may be. It looks like the Bulldogs will stick with an extra point here. Interesting. Usually Coach Buzz aggressive in those situations.
Yeah, he normally likes to get aggressive, especially in games like this. Surprised he's just taking 1 here.
Brewer to kick. Pirates almost jumped again, and Brewer will get that one through a little low, but 7-0 Bulldogs. First touchdown of the night, a dominant drive on the ground for the Crown Point Bulldogs. Now it is the Merrillville Pirates' turn to respond.
I think they have to respond here in a game like this, and I think we just need to review what just happened, because we talked ground attack, thinking about Scott and Gernick. What about Trevor Gibbs? Because that was amazing.
Gibbs got, 4 carries on that drive? I mean, all probably of 6+ yards. And he plowed his way. The play before the touchdown, he was getting carried and pushed for 10, maybe 11 yards on that play. And then he scores from about 5 yards out, standing up, by the way. Not untouched. He was touched. He was tackled. He didn't hit the ground. He kept going, stood up in the end zone.
I think there's a reason why he's a 3-star committed to IU, Gabe.
Absolutely. A total beast, Trevor Gibbs. Headed to Indiana University. He'll be graduating here in the winter. Headed to IU to maybe play some Big Ten football. Be a great accomplishment to go play there as a freshman, but we'll see. Very talented kid on the field tonight for the Bulldogs. Brewer kicks it off once again. Will this one get to the end zone? It will not. Ball is bobbled on the catch. It's going to be outside, and great return defense from the Bulldogs. Stopped it around the 16-yard line. And that is where the Pirates will start their drive with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter.
You know, one thing, Gabe, that I'm seeing right now from both sides of the ball that I haven't seen yet this year is the hype. Every play, you have players jumping in the air. Trevor Gibbs, even when airborne after he had his touchdown.
He's not an emotional guy.
No, he is normally calm, cool, and collected. But I think the Dogs know how big of a game this is.
Yeah, Trevor Gibbs usually a calm and cool and composed guy, but he celebrated that touchdown as he should, but usually does not celebrate. He is back on defense. Aquarius Johnson again in the backfield for the Pirates. A 4 wide receiver set here. Two split out to the left, two split out to the right, and Hill's going to keep it for the first time tonight. Michael Hill getting outside, pushed out of bounds by Ben Clark for a gain of 4 yards there for Michael Hill, 2nd and 6.
That was a great QB run, and I feel like that's something we never mentioned about Hill in our keys of the game was that this backfield doesn't just rely on running backs. The quarterback, Hill, is just as mobile.
Mikel Smoot, is in the game again at wideout in the slot to the near side of your screen. Johnson going to get that carry, trying to break away, carrying Red with him. That was Joshua Daniels trying to make the tackle. He's pumped up after making that tackle. 3rd and about 5 here for the Pirates. Big 3rd down. This could really shake some momentum the Crown Point's way if they get a stop here.
Daniels has been a huge part of this defense, getting 2 quarterbacks, but now getting to running backs here as he was the main reason why that wasn't a breakaway run.
So Jaquarius Johnson is out of the game here on 3rd and 5. It's Cam Jordan in the backfield. 1.5 to go here in the first quarter. 3rd and 5. Hill back to throw. He's going to throw high and nearly intercepted again. It hit the hands of Oscar Biasi, the former receiver. Now at defensive back, and the Pirates will punt it away with 1:20 to go.
Merrillville seemingly nervous in these 3rd down situations. Now Hill almost throwing 2 interceptions. Granted, the first one was a little tip drill scenario, but you got to think, what happened to that 4th quarter against Loyola?
We're up, and then they blew the lead away. So it's going to be a tight one, hopefully down to the wire here. Punted away by Wiggins. Van Tischelt will return this one. Fanton trying to give him a block. He does. Van Tischelt trying to stay on his feet. Oh, and he gets his legs taken out from under and keeps going. And he is pumped up, coming to the sideline. Took a big hit below the belt. And, man, that was a big hit to the knees. He got up, right back up.
He actually thought he didn't even,
get
down. And so he got up and kept running after that. And that's exactly what that kid is. Purdue commit for wrestling. And he's another one that I assign the word dog to because he will get hit. He'll get up just like that and keep going.
There's very few real dogs on this team. D-A-W-G-S, not D-O-G-S. And he's one of them. Braden Scott, the other one that we said in the pregame. Tice Custy again. So Custy, Molaski, Custy again. Scott breaks a tackle in the backfield. Is going to gain about 2 yards on the play.
And here's what you're going to see now in a physical game. As soon as one line starts getting better, the other line starts getting worse. Tired. And I think that's what you're going to see with this Merrillville D-line here as Scott just keeps pounding the rock.
Tice Custy. Molaski coming back into the game, and Gibbs coming in, Scott checking out, the Kellers checking out. So Custy should remain at quarterback, Molaski probably in a receiver again. 2nd and 7 from the 48-yard line. Officials, and will be the 2nd time out of the half for the Bulldogs. So 2 of them used up in just the first quarter. About 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
I think one thing that we need to mention is that the Bulldogs have 61 rushing yards now and no passing yards. So we want to talk about ground attack. I think that outlines it perfectly.
So Braden Scott has been, I guess we can say Trevor Gibbs has been the dominant force on the ground so far. He has 36 rushing yards on the night, and he's a tight end, by the way. A tight end with 36 rushing yards and the only touchdown of tonight.
Yeah, and I think, I mentioned right after that touchdown that we had heard all offseason that Trevor Gibbs was getting reps at running back. I feel like no one really knew what that meant. You have 2 great running backs in Scott and Gurnick coming in. How is Gibbs going to fit in the scheme? Well, we saw it right there. Like a glove.
2nd and 7 from the 48. Custy remains in at quarterback. Urbianak and Caden Smith, the receivers, with Ben Keller and Trevor Gibbs this time in the backfield. Motions out. Custy to throw right over the middle to Cooper Molaski. He takes it and gets down inside the 40. And Cooper Molaski getting involved in the receiving game. First down, Bulldogs.
That's that quarterback connection. Custy to Molaski. That was a great quick ball thrown. And what an ability by Molaski to pull that in.
That was a quick throw by Custy. Got the snap, took maybe 1 second, got rid of it. Gibbs was open out of the backfield there. Maybe the Pirates drew right to him, leaving Mulaski open. The Bulldogs can run out the clock here in the first quarter if they'd like to. It looks like they will. So it is Bulldogs 7, Pirates 0 after 1. We're going to have a good one for you folks, and we're going to send it down to our silent reporter, Brandon Bowling, for an update on the game.
The Bulldogs rushing, the passing has also been very good. We've seen a little bit of a switch dynamic right here because Mulaski has been acting as a wide receiver. It's been quite a confusing thing. It's also been a very run-heavy day for the Bulldogs as well. 6 out of their 9 touchdowns this season have been rushing. It's just been a weird game for the Bulldogs so far. Trevor Gibbs has been taking over as running back 1 over Schutz. It's been a great game. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Brandon, for the update on the sideline. The Bulldogs 7, the Pirates nothing after 1 quarter. Brandon Bowling on the sideline reporting for us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, 7-0 Bulldogs. Start of the second quarter here. We've seen Trevor Gibbs get a lot of the carries. Yes, the carries, not the receptions. He's been getting a lot of the carries. 36 rushing yards for Trevor Gibbs tonight. Tice Custy back in at quarterback, 1st and 10 at the Merrillville 39, and it's going to go direct snap again to Gibbs. I believe the 4th time tonight they've gone to that play, and a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8 to the 37.
Yeah, and you talked about Gibbs getting rushing yards. Why don't we talk about Cooper Mulaski having all the receiving yards, the quarterback having all the receiving yards for the Bulldogs here?
He's had the one big receiving play that happened on the last play of the first quarter. Tice Custy going quick here, handoff to Scott. Scott going to try and get outside, breaking a few tackles. Braden Scott getting outside, down inside the 15. A big pickup of about 27 on the play. And the Bulldogs set up in great position.
You know, I mean, we keep talking about this kid, and I think you have to, right, when he's such a difference maker here on the field.
Braden Scott having a night so far. 1st and 10 from the 14 inside the red zone for the second time tonight. Germick in the backfield, going to get the handoff. Gets tripped up after a gain of maybe 2, 3 on the play for Max Germick. Tice Custy looking to the sideline for the next play call.
Those short runs are going to be what propels Crown Point into these situations, right? We've seen through 2 drives now, short run, short run, short run. Oh, and then they get a big one. We saw it with Trevor Gibbs. We saw it with Braden Scott. I think it's Max Germick's time now.
Max Germick has gotten a few reps here at running back. Trevor Gibbs again in. Seems to maybe be taking the direct snap once again. And a big motion here. Merrillville does not jump. They jumped on the last one. Direct snap once again, heading outside. And a good tackle made once again by, I believe that is Smoot on the outside. No, it is not. It is Griffin on the outside. 3rd and call it 6 for the Bulldogs from the 10.
You know, you might give them 6 or 7 yards there. But A.J. Summers, who we've also seen run the ball very well for Crown Point, getting some good yards there, and they've been excellent in the red zone so far this season. We'll see if that continues here on this drive.
Plenty good kicking distance here for Oliver Brewer if they do not get it. About 2 minutes into the second quarter. Custy in the gun, Caden Smith in motion, looking Germick's way. Germick makes the catch, but an excellent tackle on the outside by the Pirates will be stopped short. It's going to be 4th and call it 2. The officials marking, the linesman takes the marker back to the original line of scrimmage. And it looks like a penalty has been called on the Bulldogs, a late penalty call. The whole play ran. And the officials, seems to be a lot of confusion down there on the field. 2 officials now communicating on the far side of your screen. And now the far side official headed towards the Merrillville sideline trying to explain things. And it will be a legal man downfield on the Bulldogs. So it will be 3rd down, 5 yards back from where they were. So it's going to be about 3rd and 11 now for the Bulldogs. Crowd does not like the call from the officiating crew.
That is a bad break for the Bulldogs. Ollie Brewer kind of getting a little loose on the sideline, maybe realizing that he might have to come in here, kick a field goal, for the Bulldogs to get some points on the board.
Caden Smith split out wide. Again, Connor Cavalcante, the first man on the offensive line coming out. Tice Custy in at quarterback. They will go to Braden Scott. Scott going to try and get to the first down marker. He's going to end up about 6 yards short. So this is plenty good kicking distance for Brewer. It'd be a 28-yard field goal from where they're at right now. And they will send out the kicking team. And I think, Braden, we can feel pretty confident with Brewer jogging out on the field.
I mean, he hit a 49-yarder in week 1 against Lowell, so I feel like this is manageable. But once again, I'm surprised. I feel like this is a Coach Bazia go for it here. But, I mean, in a game like this, you take whatever you can get.
Normally very aggressive in his play calling. Going safe here. Brewer from 28 yards out. Snap good, hold good. That one did not look great coming off his foot, but it does get through. Another low kick from Brewer. You did talk about was hamstring in the pregame, talking to him before the game, but he does get it through from 28 out. 10-0 Bulldogs with 8:40 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, told me he didn't feel great. He felt good, a little sore in the legs. Obviously, dual sport athlete playing soccer and kicking. But, I mean, I feel like that would have been good from at least 32.
Yeah, he still had a good maybe 5-6 yards on the end of that kick. Bazia seems to be on the sideline there, talking to the officials maybe about that call on that third down play. I will say it was called late. They ran a whole play, and then they called a legal man downfield. And it looks like they try to stop the play, and then they back them up to 3rd and 11. The Bulldogs get points on the board regardless.
Coach Bazia will never not let the referees hear it. They had a sideline warning against Lowell, and I think that is something to take note that, they might be getting one here soon because he was fired up as soon as that call got made, giving it to the refs, and obviously still giving it to them after that field goal.
Oliver Brewer to kick it away from the 40. That one is going to land at the 1-yard line. Return will come out for the Pirates. Cameron Jordan getting outside, and a tackle made by Dominic Fenton out on the far sideline. About a 22-yard return from Cameron Jordan. The Pirates will start at their own 23.
I think if you're Merrillville there, just a return past the 20, right? Fair catches to the 20. You get out past the 20, I'd call that a good return, especially for someone like Cameron Jordan, who has quite a bit of receiving yards from kicks this year.
1st and 10 from the 23. The Pirates offense, I wouldn't say desperately yet, but they would really like to respond to Crown Point's 2 scores so far. Rynell Lewis in motion. The tight end for the Pirates going to be another handoff to Johnson. Johnson trying to get outside. Good play by the Bulldog defensive line, and Johnson gains 1 yard on the play.
I will tell you this, Gabe. The one thing we've seen from my past 3 years watching Crown Point football, when teams have struggled with the run game against Crown Point, they never open up the pass game. And I think that's something that Merrillville needs to do here. They need to open up that pass game and at least give themselves a chance at coming back in this game.
2nd and 9. Hill back to throw this time. He's going to throw outside to his man Johnson. Johnson cuts inside. A lot of Bulldogs there to make the tackle, but not after a gain of about 6 yards on the play. So it'll be 3rd and 4 for the Pirates offense, and they need this one bad, Braden.
They ran almost that exact play last week against Loyola. Ended up reversing the entire field and going for a touchdown. Was not the same result here, which I think is a testament to how great this Crown Point defense is.
Now Cameron Jordan in at running back. Mikkel Smoot to the far side of your screen, closest to the Merrillville sideline. 3rd down for the Pirates. And again, maybe some confusion with the officiating crew. Now, head coach Seiss on the Merrillville side is looking for something. It looks like a penalty will be called on Merrillville. Coach Seiss not very happy on the Pirates sideline. Officials clearing everything up. Now the the officials moving it all the way back inside the 20-yard line. Now the marker says second down. A lot of confusion here early on. I guess it's everyone's first day here at Crown Point. First home game of the season. So it's going to be 2nd down and 14 after all of the confusion. 2nd and 14 for the Pirates from their own 19-yard line. Lewis again in motion. Excuse me, that's Smoot in motion. Cam Jordan on the handoff, trying to run over a few Bulldogs. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so now it's 3rd and 10 for the Pirates.
Now that was a weird situation, Gabe. We had a play stoppage, not really an explanation, but 5-yard penalty regardless. Almost similar to what just happened at Crown Point with that illegal man downfield.
3rd and 10 for the Pirates at their own 23-yard line. Hill in the gun. 3 wide receivers set to the near side of your screen. Cam Jordan to Hill Jr.'s left. He's going to go back to pass, has time, throws over the middle of the field. Rhinell Lewis makes an excellent catch. Dominic Fenton on the tackle, but a big first down pickup for the Pirates to about the 40-yard line. About a 14-yard pickup there from the Pirates. Big play.
That is that pass game that I was just talking about that Merrillville needed if they wanted to compete in this game. And there it is right there. Hill finding his receiver, getting downfield, getting that first down.
Now 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. It's Smoot in motion again. Handoff to Jordan. Jordan trying to break free of all that red on the outside. And he's going to get about 4 yards on the play. Jordan so far being patient in the run game, just trying to get past that big red wall of that Crown Point Bulldog defensive line.
Yeah, and when you're running the ball well, and I would say this is running the ball well, you're getting 5-6 yards every carry. That sets you up in a really great 2nd and 3rd down position.
So now a carry of 4 there. Just chunking it away are the Pirates. 2nd and 6 at their own 43-yard line. 2-by-2 set for the Pirates. Hill Jr. again in the gun. Trevor Gibbs is on the edge here. And a handoff to Johnson. Gibbs is right there to make the play, a gain of 2 on the play. And it's 3rd and about 4 for the Pirates. Another big 3rd down. They just picked up a 3rd and 10. A great throw from Hill to Lewis. Can they do it again?
I don't know, Gabe. And what I'll tell you is this student section, one we haven't seen in a while here at Crown Point, they get loud. That could be the difference maker here on 3rd down. We saw them on the pregame show. We already talked about that during our keys of the game. But I would almost add that to the keys of the game. Is this student section, I can feel the stadium shaking under me right now.
It's rocking here at Bulldog Stadium. 3rd and 5 for the Pirates. Hill back to throw again. Good rush by the 3-man front of the Bulldogs. Hill rolling out, trying to make space, throws over the middle of the field, and nearly intercepted again by Biasi. It's incomplete, and it will be 4th down and 5 from the 45 for the Pirates. They bring on the punt team once again.
Hill trying to go to Bowles there, but covered well by Biasi. And that's another one, right? 3 almost interceptions for the Bulldogs. You've got to think they're surely going to get one later in this game.
It's been 3 in about quarter and a half for Hill. Not the greatest start passing-wise. Punt is away by Wiggins. No returners back for the Bulldogs. And a great punt by Wiggins will roll out of bounds at the 11-yard line. So the Bulldogs set up deep in their own territory with a 10-0 lead. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, Gabe Trevino on hand, Braden Zamoyski, my color man. Bulldogs up 10-0 with 5 minutes and 42 seconds to go here in the 2nd quarter. So far, story of the game, as we predicted, the run game, the ground game.
Yeah, and I think Trevor Gibbs is the story there for running the football, getting that first touchdown. But then after that, that's when you had Scott and Gurnick kind of open up that ground game, and now you kind of see Crown Point going for the passing game. But one thing I will say, it has been a Bulldog staple over the past couple years, not playing any returners for punts. I don't understand the thinking in this situation where you've already had success returning punts with Griffin Van Titchell. Why would you not do it again?
Maybe just trying to go for a block. Maybe they see something with the punt team of Merrillville. Mulaski back in at quarterback. Hand off to Scott, and he's going to lose 2 on that play. Lose 3, on that play. So it's going to be second and about 13 for the Bulldogs from their own 9-yard line.
Dangerous situation for Crown Point, being backed up into the shadow of their own goal post. Going to have some creative coaching here from Craig Bazia.
Logan Urbianek subbing out of the game, so it's been kind of what we predicted also. It's been Custy, Molaski, Custy, and now Molaski again. Maybe that's going to continue, and we were wondering who's going to be in the fourth quarter. Who knows if it's going to be a close game by then, but looks like it's probably going to be Molaski maybe with the rate that they're going at. A few big blocks after the play, and Nolan Cicero, the Ball State commit, is on the ground, struggling to get up. He gets up under his own power, but he seems to be in a lot of pain, and that would be another huge loss on the offensive line with Austin Reading already out. Cicero kind of wobbling around, 3rd and 9 for the Bulldogs.
Nolan Cicero struggling with injuries throughout the offseason and the beginning of this season. Went out in the game against Lowell. Now down on the field. Seems to be grabbing his shoulder. Could think maybe he dislocated it, popped out something bad.
And Molaski headed to the sideline, and that is going to be the 3rd and final timeout by the Bulldogs. So their 3rd and final of the half with 4:15 to play. And maybe Buzz is taking that timeout to maybe check in on his star offensive lineman, because that would be another huge loss, especially with Austin Reading already out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how many more hits this O-line can take. There's such a weird scheme, and Buzz mainly only works with the starters on these specific schemes, these motions. So you got to think that if backups come in, maybe the play calls get simpler and we lose our edge in this game.
102 rushing yards so far for the Bulldogs. Again, been the story of the game so far. Offense huddling around play calling staff. Is Cicero going to come back in? It looks like he is. Jogging out there just fine. You are right, though. He came up. Looks like he had been grabbing maybe his left shoulder. Seems to be okay out there at guard, back on the field. Next is Zach Clark, Trevor Gibbs, again in the backfield. 3rd and 9 for the Bulldogs going the Wildcat. It's going to be a pitch to Germick here. Germick going to get outside. Max Germick, 25-30, going down the sideline. Max Germick across midfield and finally shoved out of bounds inside the Merrillville 40. A big run from Max Germick.
I said Gibbs got his run. Scott got his run. It was bound to be Gernick's day. There it was right there. Huge run for Max Gernick. And that is the exact momentum shift the Bulldogs needed here after being way back in their own zone.
A 53-yard trot from Max Germick all the way to the Pirate 40-yard line. And as you said, the Bulldogs needed that to get out of deep inside their own territory. Molaski in the gun with Braden Scott, it's again Max Germick. He's going to carry it forward, and Germick is going to get about 5 yards after the big run. Moving deeper and deeper into Merrillville territory, under 4 minutes to play before halftime.
I will tell you, Gabe, I have English class with a couple guys on the team, Connor Cavalcante, Braden Scott, Cooper Molaski, Anderson Keller. They were pretty hyped up leaving English class screaming, "We're going to kill them." And I think 10-0 now here towards the end of the second quarter. That's exactly what you're looking for.
3.5 minutes to play. 10-0 Bulldog lead. 2nd and 5 from the Pirate 35. Molaski again in the gun. A big shift by the Bulldogs. It's going to be a snap to Molaski, and Molaski's going to throw for the first time tonight to Gibbs. Down the sideline, Trevor Gibbs with an incredible back shoulder catch. Did he make the catch? The official says yes. A first down all the way inside the 20. Molaski kind of underthrew that one, but Gibbs with an incredible catch.
Gibbs going up, using his big frame to hug the defender, catch the ball around him. And what a catch. What a throw by Cooper, rolling out to his right, seeing Gibbs downfield, making that throw. Great play by the Bulldogs.
Gibbs Comes to the sideline, he's jumping around. He wants to get back in the game. He's headed towards Buzz there on the sideline, trying to get some water, get rehydrated. Germick up the middle, plowing forward for another gain of 8 yards on the play. And the Bulldogs moving within 10 of the end zone, trying to close out the first half with another touchdown.
Dogs were stalled here in their last trip into the red zone. Going to be a really big point that if they can go up 17-0, we may have a blowout on our hands.
2nd and 2 from the Merrillville 10. A big run by Germick set up this position for the Bulldogs. Molaski with a great throw, back shoulder throw to Gibbs with an even better catch. Handoff to Germick. Germick plowing up the middle, and he's going to gain 3 yards on the play. It will be another first down. It is a first down for the Bulldogs. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line for the Bulldogs.
This is exactly what Bazia wanted to do coming into this game, was run the ball down their throats. And we've seen that through almost 2 complete quarters.
Under 2 minutes to play now in the first half. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Germick again in the backfield. Molaski now at wideout. Minute 40 to go, play clock running down, and flags are thrown. And I believe it's going to be a delay of game. Play clock was running down, it hits 0. Bulldogs could not get the snap off. Now 3 of the 5 officials coming together to discuss. Minute 42 to go. There's been a lot of confusion of the officiating crew so far tonight. Play call was not off in time, and it will be delay of game on the Bulldogs, so back them up 5 yards. And it will be 1st and about 12 now for the Bulldogs. It's going to be, a 10-yard penalty. Back to 5. I beg your pardon. 5-yard penalty for the Bulldogs back to the 12-yard line. Officials trying to get everything set. Minute 42 to go. Wildcat formation again. It's going to be another pitch to Germick. Germick trying to get outside, cuts back inside to the 10-yard line. Gains 2 on the play, and a timeout is called by the Pirates. Their first of the half, trying to get the ball back with a little bit of time to go before half.
Germick hit hard there by the Pirates, almost expecting that Wildcat pitch now that it is the second time. He has 83 yards on 8 carries tonight, which, man, for a sophomore, that's great.
He's a big sophomore. I know that you're good friends with him. I've seen him without pads in person. He's a big person, man. For a sophomore, for being a year younger than us, he's a big guy.
He is big. He's also a very talented baseball player. Seems to be where he might try to continue his career, but hey, I'd give football a shot if I were him.
Minute 36 to go. In the second quarter, if you're just joining us, Bulldogs lead the Pirates 10-0. It's been an interesting game so far. Pirates have not been able to get much going on offense. They've only crossed the Bulldog side of the field once. 10-0 lead, looking for 17-0 are the Bulldogs. It is 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line. Molaski in the gun, Braden Scott back in the backfield. They're going to go play action. Molaski looking to throw. He's going to step up. Big frame trying to get away, and he's taken down. Did he try and get rid of it? He did, and it's incomplete, so he was not sacked. The clock will continue to run, and the Pirates use their 2nd of their 3 timeouts. So now 3rd, and I believe in goal from the 10. Maybe they're going to move it back. Seems like the marker is going to move back, and they're going to call it a sack. So it's going to be essentially 3rd and 16 here for the Bulldogs.
Molaski there stepping out to his right and then kind of corralling himself to the left where he was met by the Pirates D lineman. If I were him, I would have almost just ran straight through that gap on the right side. Could have picked up a couple yards that way.
And 23 to go in the half. I'd say, Braden, so far I'm quite surprised by, maybe I shouldn't be with the job that Coach Buzz has done, but I'm quite surprised by the job that the defensive line of the Bulldogs has done with the run game of the Pirates. I thought it was going to be a tough and tall task for them. I really didn't have questions about the offense. The defensive line really stepped up so far tonight.
I mean, we were watching film this week, shaking in our boots looking at these running backs from Merrillville, but I would almost argue they're not out of this game. 10-0, they've been able to get production on the ground and in the air. I mean, once you break past that line, I think that's when we're going to get a nail-biter on our hands.
A shot to force maybe another field goal. About 3rd and goal from the 16. Hand off to Gibbs. And it's going to be a flag against the Pirates here. And the officials calling offside, I believe, for the 4th time this game against the Pirates in just 2 quarters. So they move 5 yards closer. So instead of 3rd and goal from the 16, it's 3rd and goal from the 11. Still challenging here for the Dogs, but a little bit more possible. 3rd and goal from the 11. Handoff to Gibbs, trying to take it outside. He will be stopped shy at around the 9-yard line. Pirates use their 3rd and final timeout. And the kicking team should probably be coming on here. Brewer made a 28-yarder earlier in the game to make the lead 10. Bulldogs have time to decide with the Pirates taking their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Now, Gabe, we've seen Coach Bazia not going for high-risk plays in this game. I would almost argue you're up 10-0, a minute 21 left in the half. You score here, you've just almost closed the door here for Merrillville. I'm not going to say close the door entirely. We've seen 28-3 in football before. But you score 17 points here, you go up 17-0, and I mean, you're in a good spot, but it looks like they're just going to come out here and get 3.
Oliver Brewer and the kicking team coming out to try another 28-yarder, the exact same spot for Brewer. And it's going to be 28 yards for Brewer. Excuse me, it'll be 21 yards for Oliver Brewer. A minute 21 to go to try and make the lead 13. Snap is good. Hold is good. Snap was a little high. Kick is up, and it is through. Oliver Brewer 2 for 2 on field goals tonight. 13-0. Crown Point over the Pirates in the the Pirates have one more shot to respond to the Bulldogs before halftime, and the Bulldogs do get ball coming out of the half.
You know, I was talking to probably the first week I've talked to a lot of players about their upcoming game. A lot of them seemed really confident. You know, me as a guy who's looked over a lot of stuff, I wasn't too confident, but now 13-0, I think they've won my confidence over.
Again, the Bulldog defensive line for me, I've been really impressed with them. I think Mark Gonzalez, Amir Plowden, Joshua Daniels, they've done an incredible job so far. And the linebackers as well, Trevor Gibbs, Griffin Van Tischelt, they've all done an excellent job just stopping the Merrillville Pirates run game, which we said was probably the biggest key to this game. But now a 13-0 lead, trying to hold a shutout going into halftime here against probably the toughest DAC opponent they're going to face all year. Valparaiso coming up at home on the 26th, which, by the way, we will be broadcasting on the Marquee Sports Network.
What an opportunity.
What an honor. It is an honor to broadcast on Marquee Sports Network, where the Cubs broadcast their games. And a muffed return here, trying to get outside and tackled inside the 10, all the way back at the 5 by Dylan Schoon. And it's 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line. Definitely not what the Pirates wanted.
That is a kid, Dylan Schoon, who's not made that much noise here as a junior this season or really last season. But that's where he makes his impact there, getting that play. Now, Merrillville is in a tough spot, similar to what Crown Point was after that punt a couple drives ago.
So now the Pirates got to go 94 yards to get a touchdown in a minute and 14 seconds with, by the way, no timeouts because they used up all their timeouts trying to stop the Dogs. Bulldogs also no timeouts, they used 2 of them actually in the first quarter. Michael Hill at quarterback. Cam Jordan in the backfield. Again, Lewis coming in motion. It's Smoot in motion. Jordan heading outside. Cam Jordan picks up about 6 yards on the play. The Pirates got to go quick here. They've gone with tempo all night tonight, but now running under a minute to go.
And Jordan made contact with it. Looked like Biasi there and actually sent him flying back. Both players went flying in their respective directions. So hard hits out here, and I think that's what you're going to get when you're going to get top 2 on the DAC.
Physical matchup so far. Jordan gets another carry. He's going to get outside and pulled down by Gibbs. Could have maybe been called a horse collar tackle there, Braden, but no flag from the officials. 41 seconds to go. Clock will stop as the chains move up. First down for the Pirates from their own 22-yard line. And they do have to move here. 41 seconds to go. They got to go about 75-ish yards to get into the end zone and try and cut the lead in half. Hill in the gun once again. They're going to go to a pass play here. He's going to go outside, caught by Smoot, and a gain of 9 on the play, out of bounds to stop the clock with 37 seconds.
Now Merrillville runs a high-tempo offense. We may see them go turbo here.
They're going to go tempo again. Clock is stopped. 2nd and 1 at their own 31-yard line. So moving the ball pretty decently here. Hill back to throw, steps up, throws down the sideline once again. Was the catch made on the sideline? Smoot comes out with the ball, but it looks like he was out of bounds on the play. Clock ticks down to 31 seconds.
Once again, another situation where Hill almost throws an interception, but Smoot able to corral the ball, just not keep his foot in bounds.
3rd and 1 from their own 31 with 31 seconds to go. Triple 3-1s there, Braden, to end the first half. Bulldogs up 13-0. Pirates trying to respond. Hill bobbles a snap. Now he's going to take it himself. Flag is down. Hill will pick up the first down, but it might get called back here. There's been a lot of offensive line penalties so far with false starts and offsides, both on the Bulldogs and the Pirates. And it will be against the Pirates, so that negates a first down run by Michael Hill Jr. So it will be 3rd and 6. And a call will be a false start. They're going to run the clock, so 3rd and 6 for the Pirates with a running clock. So now maybe they got to go to a pass here, Braden.
I think that helps the Bulldogs tremendously. 3rd and 1, that would have been a dangerous situation has that run counted, but now not too much of a worry. 3rd and 6.
So they're going to, it's actually a 10-yard penalty, I beg your pardon. Trying to get used to the rules here as we begin the season. 3rd and 11. Now clock is running. It's going to be a handoff to Johnson. Getting outside, Jaquez Johnson leveled by Trevor Gibbs. A big hit by Gibbs. A gain of about 8 on the play. He gets pushed out of bounds with 17 seconds to go. And it's going to be 4th down and about 2. Call it 3 for the Pirates, and they will send out the punt unit. I think if the Bulldogs get the ball here, maybe kneel it out, Braden.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that hit from Trevor Gibbs. Jordan is a player that is used to running around people and running through people. I don't think he's going to try to run through Trevor Gibbs again.
Wiggins on the punt for the 3rd time tonight. Gibbs nearly gets in there for the block. He's doing everything. He's frustrated himself that he couldn't get in there. Punt goes down to the Crown Point 37-yard line with 6 ticks to play. Here before halftime, the offense headed out. You would presume a kneel here. No court as Tice Custy out on the field. I assume Coach Buzz will kneel the ball out. Team is headed towards the locker room. A successful half from the Bulldogs. This was going to be a good one, a top 2 DAC matchup, the 2 best teams in the DAC. Custy is in the gun here, and he will kneel it down, and that will end the first half of football. And it is 13 Bulldogs, 0 Pirates. A pretty dominant, Braden, I would say, first half from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you can say about that, except for a pretty dominant first half by Trevor Gibbs, if you want to get specific.
Yeah, Gibbs has been running the ball real well in this first half, and he's a tight end, by the way. A tight end, committed to Indiana University, running the football. But I think we've said his name a few times tonight, but Max Germick, the sophomore, he's been unbelievable tonight as well.
Yeah, and I think you almost have to think about the 4 people who have run the football, and that being Gibbs, Germick, and then adding Scott and Summers in there. The ground game has just been lethal for the Bulldogs, and I think that's going to be the difference maker in the second half and the rest of this game.
Absolutely. The running game, as we predicted going into this game, was going to be the key. And so far, it has been the key. The Bulldogs lead the Pirates 13-0 here at the end of the first half. Braden, do we see any shot of the Pirates coming back in this game?
It's only 13, right? We've seen worse. We saw worse at Lowell. I think if the Pirates are able to open up the passing game, maybe get a little bit more done on the ground, I think they have a really great chance at keeping in this game.
So definitely a reachable lead here. And we're going to send it down to our silent reporter, Cameron Qualls, for more on tonight's game.
What started as a DAC heavily anticipated matchup has turned into a 13-0 shutout half for the Bulldogs. I just had a conversation with Coach Buzz on what changes he wants to make at halftime, and he said that their offense has not been producing. They can't settle for field goals, and they need to punch it in. He also said that he does not know who is quarterbacking the second half amid the big quarterback controversy that has plagued this season so far. The Bulldogs have gotten 1 touchdown and settled for 2 field goals, and Coach Buzz wants no more of that. We'll see how this affects in the second half.
Thank you, Cameron Qualls, another excellent silent reporter down there. We've got Brandon Bowling and Cameron Qualls covering the sideline for tonight's game. Excellent reporting from them. Bulldogs lead the Pirates 13-0. The ground game has been the story tonight, and I've mentioned it a few times, but let's talk about it a little bit more in detail. The defensive line of the Bulldogs have done a great job stopping the run game of the Pirates. Excellent job by Mark Gonzalez, Amir Plowden, Joshua Daniels. Excellent job by them.
Yeah, even Amir Plowden, outside of just defense, we saw him come in on offense there. And I think that's going to be the ultimate test for the Bulldogs now, is playing guys both ways. But that D-line is just absolutely impressive.
Absolutely dominant so far. The Crown Point Bulldogs lead the Merrillville Pirates 13-0 heading into halftime. We'll bring you a little bit of a halftime show and, of course, the rest of the game here on the Bulldog Network. Stay with us.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a student athlete working on his shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Some people see a huddle in the locker room. We see a second classroom. Some see a student athlete on the court. We see a future leader in the community. You see, high school sports in Indiana are special. That's because they're about learning and growing, not just winning and losing. Fans, I'm Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support education-based athletics in Indiana by buying a ticket to your high school's next athletic event.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Network. We're going to take a quick break here with the football action and send it down to the band for their senior night.
Thompson. Gianna Lentini, flute, escorted by Michelle and Vincent. Corbin Lucian, flute, escorted by parents Samantha and Eric. Olivia Mansueto, clarinet, escorted by parents Carrie and Matt. Kate Najiman, baritone, escorted by parents Ryan and Jennifer. Victoria Perez, horn, escorted by parents Maritza and Mario. Devin Crisbillo, guard, escorted by parents Elizabeth and Dave. Alexander Rustevsky, trumpet, escorted by parents Igor and Tanya. Stephen Rogas, trombone, escorted by parents Stephen and Cheryl.
Who?
Felix Rothaker, snare drum, escorted by Regina Rothaker and Mark Rothaker.
I don't know whether to be like upset or proud of him.
Rubio,
Probably upset.
front ensemble, escorted by her mom Stephanie. Gabriel Sleto, alto sax, escorted by parents Johan and Kate Sleto. Haley Vandergrift, guard, escorted by Ryan.
This is why you don't. This is a crazy idea for the next game. Give the mic.
Lincoln Vickers, front ensemble, escorted by parents Joel and Valerie Vickers. Luke Waldschmidt, tuba, escorted by mom Jennifer Carr and dad Tony Waldschmidt. Kaylin and Ansley Ward, guard and snare, escorted by father Jamie and mom Jennifer. Jeremy Yancey, tenor sax, escorted by Jeremy Yancey and Angelica Erskine and stepdad Frank. And finally, Aaron Zimmerman, tenor drum, escorted by Sean and Janelle Zimmerman.
What's that? Light. For us? The whole band? Oh, it is? Are there more mics or is it just that one?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the field for our halftime performance of the Crown Point High School Royal Regiment Marching Band under the direction of Johann Sleto.
My friend wanted to see it. Stand right here, people. Watch the band.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Network. The Crown Point Bulldogs and the Merrillville Pirates facing off tonight here on Friday night. 13-0 is the Bulldog lead. If you're just joining us, I'm Gabe Trevino. That's Braden Zamoyski. We welcome you into the booth here on a beautiful Friday night. Sun has finally set. It's dark outside. The Bulldogs and Pirates warming up on each of the ends. You know, Braden, we were taking a look at the stat sheet over the break. The rushing difference. We were talking about the run game and how Merrillville's might actually be better than Crown Point's. But so far, big difference.
Yeah, that was the story coming into this week that we were focusing on was the run game. But now with Crown Point 172 rushing yards to Merrillville 74, that's almost 100 more rushing yards than the Pirates have. This is
domination.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's domination, and I really thought even 13-0, it's not total domination. This isn't, you know, Crown Point domination like we've seen it before, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns. But it really has been total domination. I think that in the passing game, too, the Bulldogs really haven't passed much, but I believe they passed 3 times today. Their success in the pass game has also been better than Merrillville's. Merrillville hasn't thrown the ball a lot either. But Crown Point, success in the pass game more than Merrillville, and in the rushing game, which, to be honest to me, is shocking. When I looked at the stat sheet and I saw 74-172, I was pretty shocked. Passing-wise, I believe the Pirates maybe have slightly more passing yards, but the Bulldogs, bigger plays in terms of those passing plays. Now, Braden, let's talk about the second half. Are things going to stay the same? Is it just going to be run, play, run, play, run, play?
I think if you're Crown Point, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? You've had 4 people run the football. 3 of them have had meaningful runs. Keep doing it. But if you're Merrillville, air the ball out, right? We've seen that one that it was incomplete, but Smoot had totally burned past Biasi on the far side. That could be exactly what Coach Cease is looking for over on the Merrillville side.
That was a big play. I think we forget about that. Me and him really haven't mentioned that. Michael Hill overthrew Smoot by maybe 3 or 4 yards. If Smoot catches that, he's getting out of Biasi's eyesight. He's scoring, and this is a 1-touchdown game. Maybe that changes tempo. Maybe momentum. Maybe the Pirates are up at halftime if he catches that ball. If it's not overthrown. So we're going to see. I think the pass game, you'd make a good point. Hill really hasn't thrown the ball that bad. He's looked pretty solid in the passing game on that 3rd and 10. That's the first play that comes to my mind. He threw a great ball to Rynell Lewis over the middle of the field. Great catch by Lewis. I think the pass game for Merrillville, but what about Crown Point?
I think you have to make more meaningful passes, right? They're throwing the ball. I think of the one from Cussy to Molaski there. That was a meaningful pass. That did something. That's just what Crown Point has to do, get back down to work, make those meaningful passes, and close this game out.
And I think the one from Molaski to Gibbs, Gibbs made an incredible catch on that play. We're about to kick off the second half here in Crown Point. Merrillville to kick off to the Dogs with already a 13-0 lead. And the Bulldogs to return possibly to go up by 3 scores here under the lights on Friday night. And the second half is underway. Griffin Van Tischel to return. He's going to take it out to the 20, the 30. He's breaking away. Van Tischel out past midfield. Van Tischel into Merrillville territory all the way down inside the 30. An explosive return by Griffin Van Tischel.
That is how you start a half of football. Right there, Griffin Van Tischel getting his blocks, finding some space, some open room. making it downfield. And I've talked earlier about this sideline being fired up, players being fired up. That is a key example. Players running onto the field after the whistle was blown. And that was absolutely the way to start this half.
That's an electric play, and Braden, the biggest thing, momentum on that play. That swings all of the second half momentum of the Bulldogs right now. So unless the Pirates can get a turnover or a big turnover on downs, all the momentum right now is on Crown Point's side.
I mean, even if I would say if Merrillville can hold them to a field goal here with what we just saw, that would be good.
What a return from Griffin Van Tischel to start the second half. And a flag is down on offense. By the way, that's another thing. Flags have been a big problem. Penalties for Crown Point have not been good so far, and that's something that Coach Buzz, oh, man, he does not like penalties on his team, and he's going to get on his own team about that. But it looks like it's actually going to be called against the Pirates. I mean, also a problem for the Pirates as well.
Merrillville has had 35 yards off of penalties, and that is such a problem. It's now 40 yards with that one. I mean, that's one thing we haven't really touched on is the penalty problem for the Pirates in this game.
I mean, if we're being honest, it's kind of been a sloppy game. If you look at the stat sheet and you see the penalties with the Bulldogs and the Pirates, it's been kind of a sloppy game so far. Braden Scott on the handoff from Custy will gain 4, almost 5. He's right near the marker. Officials will call it just short. 2nd and 1 for the Bulldogs from the Merrillville 25-yard line.
I think, Gabe, you're going to see a huge shift now in the run plays for Crown Point. They're going to get longer as this Merrillville D-line gets tired, right? This Crown Point D-line is so aggressive, and Scott is so physical that he just powers through.
Braden Scott breaks it outside. Scott inside the 10, stiff arms a man, diving down inside the 5, just short. He lost his footing, but a great run by Braden Scott all the way down to the 5-yard line. By the way, Tice Custy is in the game now at quarterback. It looks like it's going to be that same rotation in and out with Mulaski and Custy.
You know, they say, the popular saying is if you got 2, you got none. I mean, the Bulldogs are up 13-0. I don't think that's none there, Gabe.
You know, Coach Buzz even said that in our interview earlier in the week. He said the old saying is if you got 2, you got none. But you're right. So far, 13-0 lead, and they're 5 yards away from at least a 19, if not 20-0 lead. Scott takes it up the middle, untouched, and Braden Scott with his 7th touchdown of the year in just 3 games, and the Bulldogs up 3 possessions here to start the second half. A 52-second drive from the Bulldogs.
One thing I want everyone at home to notice is when he scored that touchdown, he celebrated and then went right over to Nolan Cicero. One thing they do every time Scott finds his way into the end zone is Nolan Cicero will lift him up into the air. Something cool that those 2 teammates have that they share together.
Looks like the Bulldogs might be going for 2 here. Custy is in at quarterback. Everybody splits out to their position. Gibbs and Scott in the game. They will go for it. It's going to be a throw from Custy. His first throw of the night, rolls out, throws over the middle, wide open, Logan Urbianak. And the Bulldogs will go up 3 touchdowns, 21-0 to start the second half. Braden, what a start.
We talked about it at the break and earlier in the first half about Buzz not taking those risks that he normally takes. But, I mean, you just saw it right there. Go for 2, have your quarterback roll out. That's a dangerous position to be in, but now they're up 3 scores flat.
So it's 21-0 Bulldogs over the Pirates. If you are just joining us, 11 minutes and 8 seconds, just 52 seconds in to the second half. An explosive return from Griffin Van Tischel sets up about a 35-yard drive for the Bulldogs, the easiest one of the night for them. And Braden Scott, 7 touchdowns now on the year for him.
Yeah, this kid is electric. I mean, I keep calling him a honey badger, and I think that the run before the touchdown run was just indicative of a broken tackle, then a stiff arm on the side. What a run by the kid.
So now Oliver Brewer on the kick. His leg, Braden, seemed just fine tonight, and that one's going to go all the way back into the end zone, about 2 yards deep. Braden, I think he might have lied to you. His leg seems just fine.
Yeah, I'd like to see his leg on a good day when it's not sore, if that's what he's doing, a touchback in the second half.
in the second half after he's already kicked 2 field goals and an extra point. And he's already had a few kickoffs as well. He's had a punt here tonight. Leg seems just fine, but now the Bulldog defense back on the field. Big thing we talked about, the defensive line with Amir Plowden, Mark Gonzalez, Joshua Daniels. Linebackers doing their job as well. It's been an all-around effort for the defense tonight.
And we're talking back about Ollie just really fast. He told me that kickoffs are what strain his leg the most, so having a couple kickoffs.
And he still got it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Shows his talent kicking the ball there. Jordan in the backfield. They're going to go right to the pass game, as you said, Braden. Hill rolling out, now rolling back out to his left. Hits Jordan on the sideline. Jordan turns it upfield for about a gain of 1. And Hill went to his right, then went back to his left. Scrambled around, found Jordan for a yard. 2nd and 9.
And I want all the people at home to watch Hill here as he throws the ball. Very uncommon for him to stay in the pocket. He likes to move right, left, gets the D-line confused, and then he'll normally find one of his running backs underneath.
We know he's a dual threat, and here he goes, taking off with the football. Good contained by Oscar Biasi. And Hill picks up 2 yards on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 7 now. 3rd and 6 for the Pirates.
Merrillville trying to settle back in here after a just disastrous second half for them.
So 3rd and 6 here for the Pirates. This is a big 3rd down if they want to keep some of the momentum on their side. Hill back to pass. Daniels pressuring, Plowden pressuring, throw over the middle. Oh, what a catch by Moot, and that will be a 1st down for the Pirates. Another big throw and catch from that tandem on the Pirates side.
I mean, I talked about in the pregame Mikkel Smoot being a key to the game for the Pirates, and look to him in the second half.
1st and 10 going quick. Hill back to throw again, and a flag is thrown. And it will be false start again. That's maybe 5 or 6 now on the Merrillville offensive line, something that they're going to probably have to talk about in practice on Monday.
I think these boys
might
be running.
Run about it.
Yeah, these boys might be running.
1st and 15 now. So it feels like with Merrillville, it's just, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. It just feels like they're going forward, but then they're shooting themselves in the foot, and they're going backwards. Hill back to throw. He's going to take off immediately, maybe a design QB draw, and here he goes. Hill off to the sideline. He's going to get the 1st down and more, and Michael Hill Jr. all the way to around a yard shy of midfield, and Jr. showing his dual threat ability on that run.
Maybe Merrillville head coach Brad Cease's game plan wasn't necessarily to throw the ball, but to just get Hill more involved, right? You can get him involved in the pass. He can also get involved there in the run, as we just saw.
Mikkel Smoot to the near side of your screen. He's the one receiver that can really make a difference on this offense. Hill to throw again. Going to go to Jordan on the outside. Jordan trying to get a few blocks. Gibbs is right there, and they wrestle him down. And he will get back to the line of scrimmage. Official spotting them for maybe a 1-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd and 9 at midfield for the Pirates.
This is important for the Bulldogs to get off the field here. They had all the momentum. Now it seems to have shifted in the favor of the Pirates, which that's the crazy thing about momentum. You can't see it, you can't hear it, but it's always there. You can feel it.
2nd and 9 from midfield. Hill has got really involved in passing so far. Have not ran the ball once besides the QB draw with him. Hill back to throw, has time, throws over the middle. That one's caught by Smoot. 1st down inside the 40. And they're moving the ball well at the passing game, Braden.
Yeah, and the Bulldogs have been playing more of a zone set here against the Pirates, which has been working out. But when you get curl routes just like that one, most of the time there's a lot of space between the linebacker and the receiver.
1st and 10, going hurry up. Hill back to throw once again. He's going to go down the field, down the sideline, and that one, will it be caught in the end zone? I believe it's Smoot again. And he did make that catch. Wow. Oh, and a flag is down. Maybe some extracurricular activities, but it will be a catch down in the end zone. Mikkel Smoot, did he make the catch? Still no official signal. A flag is down on the play. I think that came after the catch from Smoot.
Looks like it, maybe on Carson Cavalcante or on Smoot, as both players were showing emotion, both directions good and bad.
So it is an unsportsmanlike conduct on the Pirates, but a touchdown. What a throw from Hill to Smoot. And Braden, you hit that on the nail. Mikel Smoot, the difference maker so far at wideout for Merrillville.
And, I mean, we said 13-0, not too big of a deficit. Obviously 21-0, not too big, as now it's only 14.
And Merrillville responded in a great way. We said Crown Point had all the momentum after that big return from Van Tischelt. And now Santiago on to kick his first extra point of the night, and that one is up and through. And the Pirates respond in fashion. A great throw from Michael Hill Jr. down the sideline to his main man, Mikel Smoot. And the Merrillville Pirates are on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a game.
Yes, we do, Gabe, and this is the first non-garbage time touchdown of Crown Point's season. And so we'll see how they respond. And I think for Merrillville, I think their game plan right now is just not kick it to Griffin Van Tischel.
And I think that too. But I was going to say something about the defense. Maybe they change their game plan. Seeing Merrillville come out and throw the ball this many times, maybe something on the defensive side with maybe defensive fronts and linebackers, especially the defensive backs. I mean, a lot of open receivers, especially Mikel Smoot on that drive.
Yeah, almost maybe switching to a man look, try to get more pressure. Obviously, there was pretty good pressure on Smoot on that one-on-one between him and Cavalcante. Just not enough pressure to break up the pass.
An incredible catch down the sideline by Smoot. A great throw from Hill. I've not seen a lot of throws tonight, but on that drive, Michael Hill, very efficient. And the Pirates are right back in this one. Still down 2 touchdowns, but again, Braden, you can feel that momentum. It is totally swung from the Bulldogs to the Pirates.
And it seems like it was just in one play, and that Hill run, I mean, that was just electric, and I feel like that just swung that pendulum all the way to the other side.
So now to kick off again is Santiago. Van Tischel with a big return last time, which started the second half. 2 scores in less than 3 minutes. Here to start the second half, Benito Santiago to kick it off from the 25 due to the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Pirates. So 15 yards back from what is usually the 40-yard line where it's kicked, and Santiago boots this one up and away. And this time, Fanton will return. Dominic Fanton takes it out to the 40, breaks a few tackles, plows forward. Lots of white jerseys around him, just shy of midfield. Good starting field position for the Bulldogs. Cooper Molaski in at quarterback to start this drive.
And we see once again that every other quarterback rotation, which is a little different than what they started the year out on, which was kind of more of a how each player was playing basis.
Right.
Now we've seen, obviously, just straight every other.
So Cooper Molaski in at quarterback, 1st and 10 from their own 47 is where they will start. Braden Scott, who scored the last touchdown for the Bulldogs, his 7th of the year, in the backfield with Molaski. Caden Smith, the lone receiver to the near side of your screen. Hand off to Braden Scott, and he's going to get stuffed for a gain of 2 just shy of midfield, 2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs.
Chunk plays are going to be what the Bulldogs need to swing that momentum back in their favor. And a 2-yard rush on first down, I don't hate it, Gabe.
Yeah, just winding out the clock, playing more physical. I think your point of tiring out the Merrillville defensive line, it's a great point, just chewing up clock and tiring out the defense. 2nd and 8 from the 49, a yard shy of midfield. Now Logan Urbianak, the lone receiver. Caden Smith now comes out to join him on the outside. Molaski to throw, steps up immediately, rolls out, throws to Urbianak. Urbianak makes the catch, makes the move, gets hit hard, and he will cross the 40-yard line for a first down. Urbianak gets up just okay. And Cooper Molaski looking pretty good in the passing game as well, trying to match Michael Hill.
Actually, this play is going to come back. So there's holding called on the Crown Point offensive line.
Coach Buzz is not going to like that one.
He is not a huge fan of holding calls. So this will go back, and they'll do it again.
Man, so that went from maybe a 15-yard play to 10-yard loss. I mean, just like that. That's the game of football. One holding call can really change one play. This could change the drive possibly. So it's now 2nd and 20 for the Bulldogs. Alex Rodriguez hasn't seen a lot of time on the field. Now he's out of receiver. Max Germick in the backfield. They're going to go right up to, I believe, Summers. And it's going to be Braden Scott, and the gain of 4 or 5 on the play. So 3rd and long for the Bulldogs.
This is an interesting spot for Coach Bazia's team here, as they really have to dig themselves out of a hole here.
3rd and 15 for the Bulldogs. Caden Smith, Logan Urbinak, split wide receiver. Molaski going to roll out to throw, has time, gets a block from Scott, going to throw down the sideline. Caden Smith makes the catch, and he will get the first down. Molaski stayed patient, and he gets the 15-yard pickup for the first down. Big play from the Bulldogs.
Molaski getting mobile there as he has a little bit in this game, finding Caden Smith, who ran a perfect comeback route, something that I know a lot of these receivers here on Crown Point know. They run it a lot, and perfect by Caden Smith getting open there.
Anderson Keller checking out at tight end for Trevor Gibbs. Ben Keller still in at the H-back. Molaski going to hand it off to Scott, and he's taken down in the backfield. Good stop by the defense, and it's 2nd and 10. Right back where they started at the 41 of the Pirates.
Merrillville D-line just dominating on that play, getting right into the backfield and met Scott for unfortunate stop.
RJ Ford now a receiver, a freshman, getting his first rep of the night at wideout. Urbinak and Ford to the near side of your screen. Rodriguez and Smith to the far side. Summers is going to keep it up the middle. He's going to run a lot of white jerseys over, and he's going to get the first down inside the 30. Aiden Summers, and we have an injured Pirate on the field. Seems to be in a lot of pain. I believe it's Damian Jones. I could be mistaken, but he seems to be in a lot of pain. The Crown Point athletic trainers immediately go out to go check on him. And he is rolling around. He took off his helmet immediately. Looked to be in some serious pain on the ground.
A.J. Summers there with the run. He actually dropped back to pass, trying to fake the Merrillville defense out, and it worked as a huge hole opened up, and then he just ran right through that and found himself a way to get a first down. But just great coaching by Craig Bazia here, as he has now had a couple interesting plays we saw earlier in that first half. That direct snap to Trevor Gibbs with a fake handoff at the same time, which ended up leading to that first touchdown for Crown Point, and now some Wildcat action with A.J. Summers.
So Stanley Freeman was the man that was injured on that play. He is walking off under his own power, so that is good news. He was kind of rolling around on the ground, had his helmet off. Seemed to be pretty serious, but he is walking over to the sideline. Seems to be just okay. He's a key defensive player on that line for the Pirates. Summers in the Wildcat. 1st and 10, going to keep it himself, going up the middle. Summers is ran into by 4 white jerseys, gains 1.5 or so. Call it 2 on the play. 2nd and 8 inside the Pirate 30.
Obviously, Coach Bazia really likes this Wildcat look. And going back to it again with A.J. Summers trying to maximize as much as he can out of it.
2nd and 8 at the Merrillville 27-yard line for the Bulldogs. This would be a great response to a pretty impressive Merrillville drive. Summers again in the gun. He's going to hand it off to Gibbs. No, fake handoff, and Summers is stuffed by that defensive line. Damian Jones, one of them that was there. And it's 3rd and 11 now. Back it up 1 yard. It's going to be 3rd and 10, for the Dogs. And this is the outer edge of Oliver Brewer's field goal range here. And with a sore leg, maybe they don't kick this one.
Yeah, and Summers just making the wrong read there, and a tough decision, keeping it instead of handing it off to Gibbs, which, honestly, Gibbs was wide open. He would have ran for a while there. Only had about 1 to beat if he ended up keeping that ball.
3rd and 10, play clock running down. Molaski takes the snap, hands it off to Germick. Germick going to go up the middle, runs over a few Pirates, and he's going to drag himself all the way down inside the 5 on 3rd and 10. They run the football, and Braden, as you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I tell you, Gabe, every time this team gets into a situation, I'm like, they're backed up. They're not in a good place. They just find a way to get it back to a first down, and that one is the 1 yard line.
111 yards rushing for Max Germick on the night. He is having himself a great night. What he's missing, maybe a touchdown. He's in the game. Scott got one of them. Maybe the other one can get it. Germick up the middle. Max Germick is going to be... And he is in. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Max Germick, what a night for the sophomore, and the Bulldogs back up 3 scores.
I think we look at the spread of the rushing touchdowns. Gibbs, Scott, now Germick getting in on the action. Just, I mean, we keep saying, but total domination in the trenches.
So 27-7, Brewer on the try, his 3rd extra point of the night. Brewer with 2 field goals as well, both from about 21 yards out. Snap is good, hold is good, and Brewer's kick is up and through, and a great response from this Crown Point offense. 28-7 Bulldogs. And the rushing game, Braden, has been incredible tonight.
238 rushing yards so far, and we're only in the 3rd quarter. You got to think, what's up next? Are they shooting for 300?
Maybe. I mean, they have 3 running backs that are playing great right now. They have Braden Scott, they have Max Germick. I mean, you can even put Aiden Summers in there. I was going to say Trevor Gibbs as well, who hasn't gotten many carries here in the second half. But in the first half, he was the leading rusher at one point.
He was probably the most clutch runner in this game so far, having that one long play on 4th down.
So now the Bulldogs up 3 scores. I think a defensive stop again would just swing the momentum right back to the Bulldogs. Again, it's another chance for the Pirates to respond. They responded well last drive. Can they do it again, Braden?
I think they can, and I think this is what we expected out of this game. I think we expected a shootout back and forth, but maybe just a little too late here in the second half.
4:40 to go in the 3rd quarter as Brewer kicks this one off and away. Cam Jordan muffs it at the 1 yard line, picks it back up, and he's going to take it out to around the 15 or 16 yard line. I mean, for muffing the ball at the 1, not too bad of a return from Cam Jordan.
I think that just shows how fast this kid can get moving on his feet. I mean, as soon as he started going, he was moving at top speeds, into moving right past a couple Bulldog defenders, and that just shows how elusive and special this kid is.
4.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. If you're just joining us, Gabe Trevino on hand, Braden Zamoyski on color. We have Brandon Bowling and Cameron Qualls on the sideline reporting for you. We'll get another report here at the end of the 3rd quarter. 28-7 Bulldogs over the Pirates is the lead, and it's been a lot. It feels at least a lot closer in 28-7. The Pirates responded on offense by, an air raid offense, just throwing the ball with Michael Hill, and now another shot. They really have to respond here with time ticking.
Merrillville got a holding call on that return, so they'll actually be backed up into their own territory, shadow of their own goalpost.
So at their own 9 yard line is where they're going to start. Jaquez Johnson in the backfield. Finally, once more, Hill pressured by Clark, going to throw outside. Oh, and it's dropped. A wide open drop on the outside. 2nd and 10 from their own 9. Ben Clark forcing the pressure there on Michael Hill.
This is a dangerous place for Hill, who likes to run around in the backfield. Gave up a safety against Loyola. Might be a dangerous situation for him here. Could give up a safety in a game where you cannot do that.
If you're Merrillville, you really can't afford any mistakes right now on offense. Down 3 touchdowns with less than a quarter and a half to go. It's going to be play action. Hill throws right in the middle of the field to Lewis. And Lewis, the tight end, will make the catch for a 5 yard gain. So it goes from 2nd and long to 3rd and manageable for the Pirates. Clock continues to tick with a little over 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
See, here he'll have a little room to work with, and now he might try to go underneath. This looks exactly like the play that got set up for that long touchdown against Loyola they ran last week.
Hill going to look outside now, throws down the middle of the field, and that's Lewis again. And that's going to be a big gain and another first down all the way out to the 25. The Pirates are really moving the ball, throwing. I mean, where was this in the first half?
I think just the shift to a zone defense from Crown Point. There's so many gaps in the defense, and I think that Lewis has just been able to find those in 2 straight plays.
1st and 10 at their own 25, moved up about 16 on this drive. Hill being pressured, backing up, being chased by Daniels, throwing down the sideline. He's got Cam Jordan wide open, and he missed him. Threw it about maybe a yard 2 outside for Jordan, and that would have been a big, about 25-yard gain. Man, a big missed opportunity for Michael Hill.
Yeah, and that was the play they needed to swing this momentum back in their favor. We'll see what they can do here.
2nd and 10. That would have been a big 20-plus yard gain all the way out to near midfield if that pass would have been completed. And now 2nd and 10, back at the 25. Hill again in the gun, going to throw once again, going to escape from Gibbs' blitz. Hill's going to throw across the field. Catch is made, and a big gain here of about 15 yards and ran down by Dominic Fanton and a few other red jerseys. So they're going to move the ball all the way out to the 40, where his forward progress was stopped. Another big gain by the Pirates offense.
I will say that's where Hill's running ability comes into play, because right off the line of scrimmage, the Crown Point D-line was in the backfield. Hill able to run out, find his guy wide open in the middle of the field, and that was a salvageable play.
Hill back to throw, has time. This time throws outside, completed to Mikkel Smoot, and he's got about 9 yards. Good tackle by Carson Cavalcante, but about a 10-yard gain, close, if not a first down. 2nd and 1 for the Pirates, and their offense keeps moving. The passing game still on point so far in this second half. Handoff to Johnson. Johnson across midfield, picks up another first down, and Jaquez Johnson with another gain of about 10. The Pirates keep moving.
Merrillville desperately needing points on the board. Doesn't really matter if they can't stop this Crown Point offense.
1st and 10 from the Crown Point 41. Hill in the gun, going to throw once again. Back, steps up. He's going to not take off, throw down the sideline. Smoot makes another great catch all the way down inside the 15. The Pirates just keep moving it with the passing game.
We talked about in the pregame questions in the deep ball. I mean, we talked about it with Scott Angel too, and David Warner earlier. I mean, that just proves it right there.
1st and 10 at the 15. They keep moving it. Hand off to Johnson, and what a great tackle. Oh, he stays up. Clark made a great play. Almost a loss of 5. Gets it back about 2. Still a loss of 3 on the play. Gibbs there to recover Ben Clark's miss. It really wasn't a miss, just a broken tackle by Johnson. 2nd and 13 for the Pirates.
That has been the great thing, I think, about Hill, Johnson, all of the great rushers for Merrillville, and that be their ability to break tackles.
Hill back to throw over the middle of the field. Lewis tried to make a one-handed grab. Nearly picked off by Fanton, and it's going to be holding on the Pirates, which is going to back him up to, I believe, 2nd and 23. Here would be a big penalty, still waiting for the official call. I saw holding to the Merrillville side. Now the official coming to talk to the Crown Point sideline and Coach Bazia here. They still have not brought back the chains. And it is holding on the Pirates, 2nd and 23. Now for Merrillville. And again, Braden, it's 3 steps forward, 4 steps back this time. I mean, they're taking more steps forward, but then bigger steps back.
Yeah, and I would almost argue that a holding call could have been called on a couple plays this drive, but get called for it there, and that's something that Coach Cease is definitely not happy about.
85 yards on 12 penalties for the Pirates tonight. Has not been a clean game. Hill back to pass on the blitz. Going to throw down the middle of the field. Lewis, did he make the catch? He did not. A huge hit from Dominic Fanton. A flag is thrown. That could be on Fanton for that hit. We're still waiting for an official call. Rynell Lewis almost made a great catch at around the 2-yard line. Dominic Fanton, the safety, came in and made a great hit. Coach Buzz is not happy, and the stands are not happy as well. A few boos ring out.
To me, that looked like a great defensive play. They call him for what in a college sign is targeting, which is a fist to the side of the head of the referee.
And it is targeting on the Bulldogs, so a call that this crowd does not agree with. A great hit by Fanton, just maybe not legal in the rule book. Could have been worse. I mean, Lewis, I thought he was going to catch that and get in the end zone. Fanton laid a good hit, but the Pirates get a few more yards. So now 2nd and 9 from the 14-yard line of the Bulldogs. Hill shifts Johnson over to his left. Lewis in the slot. Smoot to the far side of your screen. Gets to the Johnson right away, and nothing is there. Great job by the Bulldog defense, and I noticed, Braden, they're bringing a lot more blitzes here.
Yeah, and I think that call right there kind of fired up this defense because Griffin Van Tichel made that hit, got up, said, let's go back to the line. The boys are fired up here.
3rd and 9. I think, Braden, this is 4-down territory if you're the Pirates here. I think you're down 3 touchdowns. End of the third quarter. Probably 4-down territory. 3rd and 9. Hill back to throw. Has time. Throws over the middle of the field. Fanton makes a great diving deflection over the middle of the field intended for Lewis. And it's 4th and 9. You got to go if you're the Pirates here, Braden.
Yeah, and Ben Clark actually thought he got an interception on that. Thought that ball had tipped up off the hand of looked like Dominic Fanton, but instead tipped down into the dirt. And so now I think we're going to expect the stands to be shaking here again as they were earlier in this game on 4th down.
First time out of the second half called by the Pirates to think on this decision so far, at least for the Pirates. Biggest play of the game coming up, 4th and 9. We've seen them pick up a few big 3rd downs, not 4th downs yet. The Pirates, if they can score here on this drive, could remain in this game. Their defense will have to step up, though. But first, they have to worry about this 4th down play. The student section rocking. I can feel the ground shaking up here in the press box, and the student section pretty far away from us, about 3 or maybe 4 sections away from us. You can still feel it. 4th and 9. Hill throws. That one is incomplete. Smoot slipped, dropped it, and the Bulldogs get a big stop with 1:48 to play.
And that looks like this Crown Point sideline knew that was the dagger as players are jumping in the air, high-fiving each other, jubilant on the sideline. Could that be what closes out this game, Gabe?
That could very well be what closes out this game. 1:48 to play now in the third quarter. Bulldogs lead by 3 touchdowns, and they have possession. Another good drive by the Pirates. I mean, their passing game working to perfection right now. Just couldn't finish with a touchdown that time.
Yeah, once again, just snuffed short of a drive, and now the Bulldogs have the ball back.
1st and 10 from their own 14-yard line. Tice Custy in at quarterback, just switching out once more. Handoff to Scott. Scott finds a gap, cuts inside, and he's tripped up for about a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9.
That's a good move by Scott to get back inside. Just slipped a little bit on the turf, but he would have been able to gain probably about 2 or 3 more yards, if not more.
So 2nd and call it 8 here for the Bulldogs. I think, just chew up some clock, let the play clock run down, let the game clock run down. I mean, I think a touchdown here, Braden, even if it's in the next minute and you give Merrillville a whole quarter, I think could really put the nail in the coffin.
I mean, even if you go back and forth here, right, it's just an end of a game.
Custy going to throw outside. Ford makes the catch, the freshman out at wide receiver, and he makes a few moves, gets out to the 29-yard line, 30-yard line. 1st down for the Bulldogs, and they keep moving the ball.
And Ford, the freshman you just mentioned, actually transferred from Merrillville, so maybe knows a couple guys across the way on the other line of scrimmage.
Pretty impressive. He's a freshman playing on this varsity team. Maybe a little bit of added extra motivation playing against his former team tonight.
Yeah, same kind of thing we saw with Max Germick last year.
Minute 04 to play. Handoff to Germick, and he is stuffed. Maybe gains a yard. They're going to give him a gracious 2 yards, I would say. 2nd and 8 to the 32.
I think we keep hounding this point. It would probably sound like a broken record. I promise you're not listening on a vinyl record player at home. But this ground game for Crown Point has just been exquisite.
So clock running under 40 seconds. The Dogs will have to run at least one more play before the end of the quarter. 2nd and 8 from their own 32. Custy in the gun. Going to go to Germick. Germick takes it, runs into a few Pirates, runs them over, gains about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play. 3rd and 3 for the Bulldogs, and they can run out this third quarter clock if they would like to.
Bulldogs have now elapsed 245 rushing yards in this game. Looks like 255, 260 are a real possibility here.
Total domination on the ground game, and that will end the third quarter. The Crown Point Bulldogs 28, the Merrillville Pirates 7. Touchdown here could really seal it, and we have Brandon Bowling on the sideline once more for another report.
It seems like Merrillville might have found their footing, but then they immediately lost it. Merrillville scored 1 touchdown this half after a conglomerate of flags for Merrillville. Crown Point finally got their own. It's been a flag-dominated game for Merrillville, and the one time Merrillville did score a touchdown, the immediate dissatisfaction at Crown Point made them go out and stop them on 4th down. Crown Point on the sidelines, they were fuming. Both coaches were yelling at both of the lines, offense and defense, just for letting them get in that position. Secondary was also mad because they were letting up some nice catches. There's something sometimes you just can't do anything about them, but down there it seems like you could have done something about it. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Brandon, for that sideline report and the great tradition of high school football. Sweet Caroline playing as we start the fourth quarter here. Even a few of the visiting stands out there with the flashlights on the phone. So start of the fourth quarter, Bulldogs lead by 3 touchdowns. And I think it's just chewing the clock and continuing to run the ball dominantly, I would say. I mean, total domination on the ground game so far.
Yeah, in the same way, I don't think you can mention Crown Point football without mentioning Sweet Caroline. I don't think you can mention Crown Point football without mentioning the dynamic run game that we've seen tonight.
Trevor Gibbs in the Wildcat. He's going to take the snap, and Gibbs is going to take off down the sideline and get down about 2 yards shy of midfield. First down, Bulldogs, and the clock will continue to roll as soon as they set the chains. Bulldogs with another 8 or 9 yard pickup.
They say in football when a player is a D1 commit in high school, it's noticeable. And I think Trevor Gibbs has made it noticeable tonight that he is committed to Indiana University.
Gibbs again going to take a direct snap. He's going to take this one to the left side, and he's going to plow his way, taking tacklers with him. Gains about 4 yards. It looks like maybe a gain of 1, turns it into a gain of 4.
Yeah, had a guy wrapped around his leg, similar to how a child would wrap around their father's legs when they're little. T. Gibbs just dragging him along.
Mark Gonzalez was in for those last few plays, by the way. Playing the defensive tackle, playing some offensive line there now. Seems like the normal offensive package coming back in. Tice Custy again in at quarterback. This is actually the first time Braden, because I was going to say first time we've seen same quarterback back-to-back drives. But it was just paused by the quarter, and flags are down before the snap. And it will be a false start again on the Bulldogs. Coach Buzz, he's gonna have a field day on Monday with these penalties.
I think you know who else is gonna have a field day? Brad Cease over at Merrillville. His players have gotten almost double the amount of penalties as Crown Point, almost triple. So they're definitely gonna be doing a lot of running next week.
A lot of yellow towels out there, I would say. Yellow flags being thrown, as Brandon said, down there on the sideline. I mean, a whole lot of flags on Merrillville. Some on the Bulldogs. I mean, 5 for Coach Buzz is too much, but 12 for the Pirates on the other side. And confusion here. Cussey's going to keep it himself and turn nothing into a little bit of something. A gain of 2 on the play. And it's 3rd and 8 for the Bulldogs, about 2 yards shy of midfield.
There's so much that you could say about Tice Custey, but right there you see his athleticism playing formerly as a wideout, trying to get around that edge there using that speed.
And for anybody who doesn't know, Tice Custey came in as a transfer from Valparaiso, and as Braden said, he played wide receiver at Valparaiso. He didn't play quarterback, so coming in, playing a new position at a new school could be a tough transition for him so far. Done pretty well. Now Mulaski in at quarterback with Germick in the backfield. Going to hand it off to him. Germick carrying more defenders with him. And it's going to be 4th and about 3. Does Buzz stay with aggressive calls here? Up 3 touchdowns, and they're going to go quick here. Mulaski again in the gun. They're going to go quick. 4th and 3, and they wanted to get Merrillville to jump, but Tony Brooks, the left guard for the Bulldogs, will jump. False start. Now you think Buzz probably punts.
Yeah, I think a punt is coming in. And one thing I notice here is this is one of the first times we've seen Max Germick and Cooper Mulaski on the field in the backfield together. Buzz has been pairing so much with Mulaski and Scott and then Custey and Germick. Could that be because of the size difference between Mulaski and Scott, and then alternatively Germick almost being bigger than Tice Custey?
9-inch difference. Scott is 5'9". Mulaski listed at 6'7". So a big height difference between Cooper Mulaski and Braden Scott. Oliver Brewer on the punt for only the 2nd time tonight. 9:45 to go here between the Merrillville Pirates and the Crown Point Bulldogs. On to return, and he's going to get out to the 10, the 15, breaking a few tackles, still going across the 30. He's going to beat Tony Brooks, still going all the way to midfield, and shoved out by the punter, Oliver Brewer, the last line. And a flag is down, and here we go again. Maybe the Pirates shot themselves in the foot again. Will it be on the Pirates? Still waiting the signal. If it is, Braden, again, a few steps forward, more steps back.
Almost triples the amount of steps back.
And it will be a block in the back against the Pirates. Man, just frustrating if you're the Pirate. I mean, if it weren't for even cut these penalties in half and still, 6 penalties? Even just cut them in half and
that's
could
still
be
way
a
too
big
many.
difference.
Yeah. And then even just, that was Crown Point's 2nd time punting since the first drive of the game, which I think just shows how dominant Crown Point has been this entire game.
9 minutes and 32 seconds to go here between the Crown Point Bulldogs and the Merrillville Pirates. If you're just joining us, I'm Gabe Trevino on hand with Braden Zamoyski here on color commentary. 28-7 Bulldogs is your lead with about 9.5 minutes to play. It's been a kind of a back and forth game. The scoreboard really doesn't represent what this game has been. I will say, though, that the run game for the Bulldogs has been the story of the night.
And, Gabe, we talk about these penalty problems. Merrillville is now at 95 yards in penalties. That is almost an entire football field.
Not good, and Coach Seiss over there on the Merrillville sideline may have something to say about that on Monday. Hill evading tacklers, again going to throw to Smoot. What a throw and catch. That looked effortless from Michael Hill, and another great catch by Mikkel Smoot down on the sideline. A gain of about 30 on the play.
Yeah, best way to get those lost yards back from that penalty, just throw it deep all to Mikkel Smoot, and that's exactly what they did.
1st and 10, going tempo. They really have to here, down 3 touchdowns. Hill going to roll out again, going to run up the middle. Hill's going to run outside now, trying to get out of Griffin Van Tischelt's way. And another flag is down in the backfield. Initial signals holding on the Pirates. My goodness. Braden, I feel bad for the Pirates at this point. They're doing everything right. It's just the penalties. It's the little things.
You can't even feel bad for them now because now they're 100 yards down in penalties, and it's caused by their own issues. It's blocking the backs. It's a lot of holdings, false starts, penalties that, I'm sorry, shouldn't be made on a high school football team.
100%, and that's 14 penalties for now 105 yards. Now back at their own 25 after a 30-yard play from Hill to Smoot. 10 yards back. It's just a few steps forward, a few steps back. It's been the story of the night for the Pirates. Hill back to throw again, rolling out, getting out of Daniels' way. Another great throw. Smoot makes the catch again, and another flag is down. And Jamal Cherry, the center for Merrillville, not happy. And another holding call on the Pirates.
You know, there's going to be a lot of linemen running at practice next week. And I know Coach Cease over there is just fuming.
And now it's 1st and 30 for the Pirates, all the way back at their own 15. By the way, they started the drive at around their own 5, 30-yard pass play. Now they're back at their own 15. Yeah. I mean, it's only like they got about 10 yards on this drive. 1st and 30, under 9 minutes to go. Michael Hill takes the snap, back to throw once again, throws outside, another great catch, another great throw, and a gain of about 15 or so on the play. So another great positive play, no penalty this time, Braden. 2nd and 15 now for the Pirates.
Yeah, and the only way to work back that yardage is by going forward.
Hill back to throw, outside again, and catch will not be made, so 3rd and 16 here for the Pirates.
Merrillville trying to embrace that passing game here, and 195 yards now in the air, something that has made a dent now. I mean, scoring a touchdown, but nothing really meaningful here.
It's made a dent on the stat sheet, but not really on the scoreboard so far, Braden. 3rd and 16 from their own 29-yard line. 8:44 to go. Hill back to throw again, pressured, escapes. Hill throws down the sideline. Jordan's there. Jordan makes the catch, and all the way down inside the 35. Another great back shoulder throw from Hill, and another great catch from Cameron Jordan. What a play by the Pirates.
Once again, just not being pressured hard enough by the Crown Point DB, losing a step behind the receiver, and that was a long 55-yard pass, and that just almost swung the momentum back towards Merrillville.
1st and 10 from the 34. Gibbs on the end. Hill is going to throw, gets it out to Johnson. Johnson getting outside, and he's going to pick up about 6 on the play. I mean, they're moving the offense with ease right now in terms of the passing game, but Braden, it might be too little too late at this point.
I think they got lucky against Loyola with too little too late, and they're obvious to me that this is a fourth-quarter team, and you can't go down early and then try to play in the fourth quarter.
So maybe the key, after all, was Crown Point getting off to an early start, which they did, and they did well. Hill throws outside again. Another flag is down. Smoot makes another catch for 1st down, but that will be called back, and Jamal Cherry once again is just frustrated. And Michael Hill squatting down, looking at the sideline. He is really frustrated with his offensive line. Another holding call.
Yeah, he seems to be doing just everything he can. He's running all over this field trying to make throws, and he's completing the throws, but for every throw, there's 10 yards back on holding.
Seems to be that story of the night for the Pirates. I mean, we just saw a 30-yard play, and then they go back to 1st and 30, get a 1st down on 3rd and 16. Another great play for a 1st down to Smoot, back to 2nd and about 14. Really tough night penalty-wise for the Pirates. Hill rolls out, ball tipped in the air, and it's picked off by Carson Cavalcante. Cavalcante gets about 6-7 yards on the return, and the Bulldogs might have just put the nail in the coffin on that one.
I told you, man. I told you they'd get an interception. I said that about the first quarter, and now they have it. Carson Cavalcante, the tip drill, didn't quite get it in the first quarter off the double tip, got it here. Now with the tip, Bulldogs just seem to be on fire. And Gabe, I now have one question for you. Was that the dagger?
I believe that was. 8 minutes to go. Bulldogs up 3 touchdowns. They get the ball back. I really don't see any way. I think if Merrillville would have scored a touchdown there, they would have had to get a quick stop, but they definitely would have been in it. Now I think Bulldogs got to run out the clock here. Hand off to Germick. Germick breaks free. He was patient behind the line. Breaks free across midfield. Stiff arms a man. Still going all the way down to the 35. Max Kermick having himself a night. And a flag is down late. And there might be a flag on the sideline here. It could be unsportsmanlike conduct. Oh, boy. And some of the coaches down there not happy. Not sure who it's on down there on the sideline. But it seems to be an unsportsmanlike conduct on Crown Point. Still waiting for an official signal. And it is unsportsmanlike conduct. And that, with all due respect, that's a Merrillville call tonight. I mean, the Bulldogs haven't done that all night. But they shot themselves in the foot there.
Yeah, and after a great run by Germick, you just cannot do that, especially with a play like that getting taken back now. And now, looks like Caden Smith might be, he looked a little ginger on his foot, but maybe just kind of trotting back. Looks to be all right.
So I'm not sure who it was on the sideline, but it was someone on the sideline. Must have said something to a Merrillville defender, and a few of the coaches went up to whoever it was that said something on sportsmanlike conduct. A big run by Germick, 15 yards taken away from that run. 1st and 10 from the 47 now for the Bulldogs. They got all the way down to about the 35. Now they're back in their own territory.
Yeah, and I think one thing is just that how bad that is for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Another flag. More yellow coming out on the field, and it's going to be offside on the Merrillville Pirates. What is that, penalty number 15 now, maybe 16 on the Pirates. So another free 5 yards. Instead of a 15-yard loss on that run, it's only a 10-yard loss.
Yeah, and seems to be that unsportsmanlike penalty was actually on the kicker, Oliver Brewer.
Oh, wow. That seems to be uncharacteristic. Again, I couldn't see. I was looking down there as hard as I could, ladies and gentlemen, to see who it was down there. But maybe Oliver Brewer, pretty uncharacteristic, if you ask me.
Yeah, my stats guy, Owen Evener, gave me the insight that he thought it was Oliver Brewer that they called the penalty on.
So now Mulaski in the gun. It's going to be a fake to Germick, direct snap up the middle of Braden Scott, and Scott narrowly broke away. Tackle made it around the 32-yard line. Another big 20-plus yard run for the Bulldogs, and they just keep driving it down the field on the ground.
There's that versatility. That is the same play that Trevor Gibbs ran 3 times on one of the first drives of the game, where that off-direct snap, fake handoff, and they ran it right there with Braden Scott getting the snap, which is actually something they did run in practice. Coach Bazia, with a couple of Scott's first reps, wasn't too happy, but obviously wanted him there now.
1st and 10 at the Crown Point 31. Handoff, or excuse me, at the Merrillville 31, handoff to Scott. Gains a yard if he's lucky. He's also having himself a night. He's got 7 touchdowns on the year, one of them coming tonight. I mean, all of the running backs, Germick, even Summers, and Scott having themselves a night.
I think we actually might have to, two of us might have to discuss putting Max Germick into that dog category after tonight with the performance he's had.
There's very few in that dog category. I mean, we put Braden Scott in there. I think we definitely put Trevor Gibbs in there. I mean, there's very few in there, and you're right. Max Germick, he's earned himself a possible dog award in our book. Another handoff to him. Didn't field it cleanly. He's going to get across the 30. Another flag is down. More laundry on the field. Lots of close the fold, huh?
Yes, sir. Merrillville players going to be busy with that one all night.
Whole lot of yellow laundry on the field. Officials discussing maybe another holding call this time, maybe on the Bulldogs. It's going to be a face mask on the Bulldogs is what we're seeing here. That would be another devastating penalty against the Bulldogs. Still no official signal. And it is going to be, wow, so another 15-yard penalty for the Bulldogs. Excuse me, a 5-yard penalty.
And that is not something you see very often, a face mask on the offense.
Second and 14, 2nd and 15 for the Dogs. Mulaski getting the call from the sideline. Clock begins to wind. We're now over halfway through the 4th quarter. Mulaski in the gun with Scott and Germick in the backfield. And Scott's going to take the direct snap, take it up the middle. Oh, and he tripped maybe right over himself, maybe right over some of his offensive linemen he was trying to follow. Gains 2 on the play, 3rd and 12 for the Dogs.
I will say that play is designed that he's right up behind his lineman in almost a wedge. Coach Bazia asked his players if they had seen the movie Mighty Ducks. The flying V in that movie is what he described this wedge block as.
Coach Buzz, creative personality, huh?
Yeah. And so maybe Braden Scott just tripping over being too close to his lineman there.
By the way, 290 yards rushing for the Bulldogs. 10 more, and they are at the 300 mark. Germick trying to get there. He gains about 5, maybe 6. Bulldogs inching closer to 300. It's now 4th and 7 for the Bulldogs. Under 5 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter.
I will say with about 4:35 left in this game, with almost certainty that they will reach 300-yard rushing.
I think maybe if they get the first down here, that'll be 300. If they don't, and they don't pick enough yardage, they need 4 yards for 300 on the night at 296. So they don't even need the first down. They just need 4 yards here, and maybe just going to run the clock down and use one of their timeouts.
First down would be nice, though.
Runs down, and Coach Buzz will take his first of 3 timeouts with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. 28-7, Crown Point leads. Dominant ground game. That's it. That's been the story of the night, Braden.
Yeah, I don't think you can say anything else. And a Crown Point team where in the past we've seen Larry Ellison last year. We've seen people in the past run with Crown Point. I don't think that we've seen a running back room like this for Crown Point in the past, 5 years? Probably longer?
Yeah, it's been an incredible performance. I mean, we've got to give credit to the Lions, too. I mean, they're creating the pathways, creating the gaps, creating the holes. The offensive line, Nolan Cicero, Zach Clark, Connor Cavalcante, Logan Howard, who we really haven't mentioned his name in a negative way so far. I think we've got to give him credit for stepping into that role. He's done an excellent job tonight. The whole offensive line, excellent job tonight.
Yeah, and I actually do want to talk about Connor Cavalcante, the center for this offense, and he is really small for a center. I don't mean to diminish him in any way because he is a very good football player, but he's shorter than Braden Scott.
He's about 5'8", 5'9", about the same height as Scott, maybe slightly shorter. But he is like Scott. He's short and stocky. He's really strong, really big. I mean, in terms of his size and strength, he deserves to be on the offensive line.
Absolutely.
4th and 7 for the Dogs. Mulaski in the gun. They're going to go play action. Mulaski has 1 wide receiver out. Smith, can he make the catch? It gets bumped in the air. Incomplete. Even if he did catch it, he would have been short of the line to gain. So the Bulldogs could end maybe 4 yards short of 300 if they don't get the ball back. But knowing how the defenses play, they probably will.
Yeah, and I will say, it looked like that ball hit a player's hands and then went into the chest of Caden Smith. So
regardless if that hit the ground or not, that was a great concentration to come down with that ball. However, he would have been short of the line of the game.
Yeah. But, I mean, still, I think we saw that was a creative play by Coach Bazia, only having 1 wide receiver out to play. But, I mean, when you have 1 wide receiver, it's very easy to cover that.
So 1st and 10 for the Pirates. And this is do or die now. They've really got to come up with a miracle now. With 4 minutes, little over 4 minutes to go. They need 3 touchdowns. They've got to get 3 stops as well. Passing game has worked in the second half. Can it keep working? Hill going to go down the middle of the field. He has his man, and Dominic Fanton almost intercepted it for the second, maybe 3rd time tonight. So close.
Yeah, he almost had that first tip interception, and he is going to beat himself up over that one, diving to make that play, just slipping through his fingers. Great play by him to break that pass up on a play that was wide open if he didn't jump to make that catch.
26 for 33 on the night for Michael Hill. Been really efficient throwing the ball. He's going to throw once again. Pressure comes, rolling out, keeping his eyes down the field. And he'll throw that one out of bounds. So 3rd and 10 for the Pirates now with under 4 minutes to play.
Now 2 more stops for the Bulldogs, and they have their chance to get 300 yards here on the ground, something that I would really love to see.
Excuse me, that's 16 for 24 for Michael Hill. Still pretty efficient throwing the ball. And really, those 16 completions, maybe 1 or 2 came in the first half, but really all of those have come in the second half, so it's really only 1 half a play throwing the ball for Hill, and he's done a great job tonight.
I would argue that probably 60 of those are here in this fourth quarter.
3rd and 10. Hill back to throw. Daniels trying to get through a double team. Hill evades again. He's got his man Cam Jordan out past midfield. Another big play of about 20 yards there. And Michael Hill, again, just staying patient, rolls out. It seems like he's very comfortable outside of the pocket. He rolls out. He takes his time. He's comfortable out there.
Yeah, something that is not common for quarterbacks. You see quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, but they don't look comfortable outside the pocket. They do it to evade coverage, but he looks like he thrives outside the pocket.
276 passing yards for Hill tonight. Going to go outside. Oh, a great catch by Johnson. Johnson running through more red jerseys and picks up 13 on the play, down to around the 35-yard line. Again, maybe too little, too late, but this Merrillville offense in the second half really moving the ball.
Yeah, Jaquarius Johnson, he is a very good receiving back. Both of Cameron Jordan and Jaquavius Johnson, good receiving backs. A little confused why Cease didn't utilize them more with screen passes.
I mean, I said it earlier in the third quarter. Where was this in the first half? This passing game for the Pirates really deadly so far in the second half. Hill takes his time, rolls out again. He's got his man Smoot wide open on the outside. Stiff arms man gets inside the 20. Another pickup of about 15 or 16 on the play. And that is now over 300 yards passing for Michael Hill. I mean, stat sheet says he's played really well, and this is why I say it, the score really doesn't represent this game. Michael Hill having himself a night.
Yeah, if it's not for the what seems like a million penalties on the Pirates, then this game is totally different.
About 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Hill back to throw again. Hill looks over the middle of the field. He's got Lewis. Lewis makes a contested catch on Fanton. Another excellent throw and catch all the way down to the 4. And it's going to be roughing the passer on Mark Gonzalez, who hit Hill late, so add on maybe half the distance to the goal here. Another great throw from Hill to Lewis over the middle, though.
I think the one thing we haven't mentioned enough is Lewis's ability to hold the ball. A couple of times when he's caught the football, he has been hit hard right after the catch. And a lot of times it's been by Dominic Fanton, who does not treat
he doesn't let up on
lightning.
He doesn't let up on those hits. He's hitting real hard up there in that safety position, moved from kind of that cornerback to safety position, now playing in the back of the defense. So the Pirates get it on the 2, looking to punch in their second touchdown of the night. Hill in the gun, Johnson to his left. Here comes Smoot in motion. Now going to throw out to Smoot on an out route, and he is in. Touchdown, Pirates. I mean, man, that was a really simple drive, it seemed, from the Pirates.
Yeah, and something that, I mean, you mentioned it, why they didn't do it sooner. I feel like it's the story that we heard over and over and over last year was teams trying to attack this Crown Point defense with the run game, and they would just try to smash it down their throats, get stopped, and then open it up in the fourth quarter. This is the same story we've seen so many times of teams trying to open up late and too late. I mean, Merrillville tried to do it at the start of the second half, which is a little sooner than we've seen it with some other teams. But maybe the code to cracking this Crown Point defense is throwing the football.
I mean, maybe the same weakness on the Crown Point defense is defensive backs, same as last year. I mean, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, the score's 28-14. It does not represent the game. Michael Hill, the quarterback for the Pirates, 330 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. Score does not represent the game. It's been penalties that have killed the Pirates so far tonight. It's a lot closer than just 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think, well, I mean, we keep talking about momentum. The momentum has kind of made it feel so close. And I mean, even the running game for Merrillville, not as impressive as we've seen earlier in this season, but I wouldn't call it a bad game for either of these two running backs, Jaquavius Johnson or Camden Jordan.
So a little over 3 minutes to go here in Crown Point on the first home game of the season. And I will say, Braden, although Merrillville have really made mistakes, Crown Point has played well, but it's really Merrillville that hasn't played great because of their penalties. I will say it is impressive winning by 2 touchdowns against what most call the second-best team in the DAC.
Yeah, and it's just capitalizing on those mistakes, which Crown Point has done so well. And maybe we might see an onside kick here.
So they're going to go onside kick here. Santiago kicking that one, and it's going to be a flag. Maybe the Pirates took off too early, and it will be. And I think Buzz could decline that one. Maybe he can't, so maybe the Pirates will have to re-kick. And at this point, they need 2 onside kicks. They need 2 more touchdowns. It's really about miracles now.
3:05, though, if they get this onside kick, with how they've been playing this half, making it a 1-score game will not be too hard.
So now they got a kick from the 35, and I'm not sure how the rules work, if now they have to kick at 15 yards or if it's still 10 yards. With that penalty, I believe it's still 10 because the Bulldogs lined up at the 45-yard line. And it is 10 yards, as our own Evener confirms that. So Wiggins is going to try and get his team possibly back in this game. A high kick. Smith will field that one. His sure hands as a wide receiver will field that one, and the Bulldogs will go back on offense.
Yeah, Smith doing a really good job of just catching that ball and going right down to the ground. Not a chance of losing that football.
Those sure wide receiver hands. That's what they're made for.
He had a couple great grabs on that one comeback route down here on the near side of the field. That was early in the second quarter, I believe. He really does have good hands on him.
So Tice Custody now coming in, just switching in and out, I guess, until the very last game. So I guess the answer was Tice Custody. 2's going to finish, but maybe not as close as we probably predicted. But still a great game tonight. I mean, if Merrillville had not even half the penalties, this game could be a 1-touchdown game right now. Custody hands off to Scott. Scott breaks free up the middle, almost runs over the official in the middle of the field. And that will be 300 yards rushing for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that is an impressive feat, Gabe. I don't know about you, but I have not seen 300 yards rushing in a high school football game, I don't think ever.
And, yeah, in my career watching high school football, don't think I've seen 300 yards rushing either. So 304 to be exact. Braden Scott, Max Skirmick, Aiden Summers, Trevor Gibbs in there with a few rushes. 2nd and 2 from the Merrillville 41. Now under 2.5 minutes to play. Back to Scott up the middle. Gains maybe 1. They're going to mark him short of the line to gain. 3rd and 1 for the Bulldogs, approaching under 2 minutes.
Definitely seems like they're just going to run this clock out. I mean, they have a 2-score lead. Half possession, I don't think that they're I don't think they're going to want to give Merrillville the ball back, but I don't think they will either.
Minute 55 and running. 3rd and 2 from the 40. The officials, maybe saying the spot, something. The officials trying to do something, but play will continue. Custody in the gun, 3rd and 1. Clock will run all the way down. Scott goes up the middle. He trips his way to a 1st down across the 40-yard line with a minute 33 to go here in Crown Point, and that will pretty much do it.
That will undoubtedly be what closes this game out here. As now they will just run the rest of this clock out.
I think Custody, they could kneel it out. I don't know if that's Coach Buzz's coach. We often don't see them kneel it out. We usually see them run it out. We'll go under center here on 1st and 10. Approaching under a minute now. Scott in the backfield, and Keller will come across on the motion. Scott breaks free. Scott's going to take it outside. Will he take it all the way? He will not. Tackle Down inside the 10. He wanted that second touchdown of the night. He wants to match or beat Max Germick for at least the touchdown competition tonight.
You said that Coach Buzz does not like to kneel the ball, but instead to run it out. And I couldn't think of a better way to run this game out against probably the DAC top favorite behind yourselves.
Keller in motion again. Same play here. Scott up the middle. He's going to carry a lot of white jerseys in, standing up. And Braden Scott with his second touchdown of the night. That's number 8 on the year in just 3 games. With 39 seconds to go, the Bulldogs surpass 30 points tonight. An impressive outing on the ground. Braden Scott being the main guy, with Max Germick being right there with him.
I couldn't think of a better way for him to walk this game off in a game that probably will decide the DAC.
Brewer on the kick. His third extra point tonight. That one is up and good. That actually looked like the best of the night. And there's 39 seconds to go. I think Ollie was being a bad friend. I think he lied to you.
Yeah, I really do think he did, because his kicks have just been tremendous. Maybe he just had to warm up first, because he was kicking some punts warming up when we went over to talk to him. So maybe he just had to get that leg warmed up for us.
Cicero goes over the student section, tells them, let's go, trying to hype them up. Heads back to the sidelines, so 35-14 is your score. The Pirates will get the ball back with a little over half a minute to play here before the Dogs go to 3-0 and 1-0 in the DAC.
They might just end this
on their
game.
way to an undefeated season again.
Doesn't really seem reason to finish this game out, but we will.
I bet if Merrillville didn't have to finish it out, they'd probably just say, you know what, guys, take the win. Let's get out of here. Let's try and get home earlier.
Yeah. I bet we'll just see this ball kicked off and then not much after that.
I mean, Michael Hill, got to give him credit. Over 300 yards passing from him, 2 touchdowns. He's been really good, but if Merrillville had done that in the first half, what kind of game would we be looking at right now?
We'd be looking at one that we were talking to our friends Scott and David about during the pregame show, which was one that would be a lot closer than this one.
Looked like maybe an onside kick, at least a short kick. And looks like another penalty is thrown. It looks like it's probably going to be against the Bulldogs here. Officials all conferring it will be personal foul. You know, not going to make much difference. Pirates get the ball, get an extra 15 yards, I guess, out of that one. 38 seconds to play now. I think maybe they get it closer across midfield. The stick's moving up, and it will be across midfield. Maybe you can get one more touchdown here in 38 seconds. But, yeah, Michael Hill, incredible night, but penalties really, I don't even think Crown Point really stopped the Mare. I mean, in the first half, yeah, but penalties absolutely killed the Pirates tonight.
Penalties and just not enough in the run defense category, as that ball was just placed way too far behind Lewis, and that will probably close this game out here.
That was a throw up the seam to Rynell Lewis, who's also had a pretty good night receiving. Could not make the catch, slightly behind them. Hill threw it a little too early, wasn't turned around quite yet. 2nd and 10 with 34 seconds to play. Just looking to close this one out. Johnson in the backfield. 2 wide receivers to either side of your screen. At the Crown Point 47, Hill back to throw, throwing up the seam again. Cam Jordan makes that catch, and he's going to get it all the way down inside the 25. Clock's going to stop as the chains move. Merrillville maybe trying to get one more touchdown out of here to get across the 20 mark. Overall, an impressive showing from the offense. Hill going to go quick, going to throw again. Going to roll out. Hill going to throw towards the back of the end zone, and that one is caught in the back of the end zone with 18 seconds to play. I mean, that was impressive, Brady. 20 seconds. They go 47 yards down the field in about 3 plays.
We talk about too little, too late. I think a 20-yard drive with 38 seconds left in the fourth quarter is too little, too late.
But, man, what an impressive – I mean, even in the last drive of the game, a touchdown in 3 plays, 47 yards, 20 seconds. Just shows you how good the passing game has been. And, I mean, we don't live in a what-if world. We live in a real world. But what if the Pirates had thrown the ball in the first half like they have in the second half? It's been incredible so far to see in the second half.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest what-if from this game because people were so focused on the Merrillville run game, but now we see here that this pass game was just as elite.
I mean, I'd say our worry, of course, preparing for this game was the running game, and Johnson and Jordan and even Hill taking off as a runner. But so far, I mean, at least in the second half, I just can't believe they didn't go to the passing game in the first half. Maybe this is more of a wake-up call for the Dogs to worry about this with future opponents, the passing game.
You think of playoffs and what killed us against Westfield, it was the quarterback, deep ball. And I think that is what is going to be the biggest kind of shift here, at least I hope, for Coach Bazia and the Dogs.
Maybe the lack of competition kind of hid, maybe some of the weaknesses on defense because we play a conference opponent, probably the best conference opponent besides the Bulldogs. And to be quite honest with you, Braden, they exposed this secondary.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, this game we won it, but at what cost, Gabe, right?
At what cost? Onside kick, good bounce here, but that will go right into the hands of the former wide receiver, Oscar Biasi, and that will end it. Mulaski will come out as quarterback. I mean, we were just talking about how Buzz doesn't kneel it out.
I would kneel it here.
I think you'd kneel it here too, but
Victory
who
formation
knows?
to win the DAC.
Maybe throw the ball.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Should they?
18
Hail Mary.
seconds. Yeah, but a really tough effort from the Pirates, but not enough. They really only played one half of football, and the Crown Point Bulldogs played a complete 4 quarters. Victory formation here for the Bulldogs with Gibbs and Gurnick and Scott in the game. The key players to this game as Mulaski kneels it down. And the Crown Point Bulldogs will finish off a 35-21 win over the Merrillville Pirates. They move to 3-0. The Pirates move to 1-2 on the year. The Pirates go to 0-1 in the DAC. The Bulldogs go to 1-0 in the DAC. Braden, definitely an impressive win tonight.
Yeah, and this is a game where we thought it was going to be a nail-biter down to the wire, but penalties. Penalties, and maybe a little bit of run defense in there. Throw a little bit of run. 180 penalty. 18 penalties, excuse me.
Unbelievable.
120 yards due to those 18 penalties.
Braden, I don't think I've ever seen that many penalties in any game. NFL, college, high school, any game.
That is rare.
18 penalties is incredible. We're going to send it down to our silent reporter, Cameron Qualls, who's with the star tight end, Trevor Gibbs, in just a second, getting set up for that interview. We're going to send it down to him now with Trevor Gibbs.
I'm here with IU commit Trevor Gibbs. Trevor, great game tonight. Now, with a bunch of people doubting you guys, I think, coming into this week, and Merrillville being one of your toughest competitions, what kind of message does this send to not only the DAC, but the rest of Indiana football?
I think it's not a message, but a moral to our team, We keep the outside stuff out, keep the inside stuff in, focus on what we got to do.
100%. And you face LC at their place next week. Or do you have any type of matchups in the next coming weeks circled on your calendar that you're ready for and you know you can beat?
All of them.
That's a great answer. Thank you, Trev.
Welcome back up to the booth. Thank you, Cameron Qualls, and thank you to Trevor Gibbs for giving us that interview. Great game from him tonight, but, I mean, Braden, we didn't call his name that much. We called Max Germick. We called Braden Scott. We even called the defense, the defensive line. I mean, just a total overall complete game from the Bulldogs in the second half. Great effort from the Pirates, but not enough.
Besides, I mean, that one, he came in clutch to score that first touchdown. 4th and 1, then those 2 runs right after to get into the end zone. But you're right, other than that, I mean, he had a couple runs here and there, but overall it was Braden Scott, Max Germick. I would even argue that Cooper Mulaski was an impact player tonight.
Cooper Mulaski was an impact quarterback. I think key to this game, or this team really, Tice Custody and Cooper Mulaski, we haven't seen them play in person. I guess you did at Lowell. I didn't go to that game, and we obviously didn't go to the Pike game with that being 3 hours away. But I really didn't see it in person. Tice Custody, Cooper Mulaski, they don't have to do much. They really don't. I mean, they have to throw maybe 3, 4, 5 times a game each, and they just got to hand the ball off to their explosive running backs. That's about it.
Yeah, and something about those two, if they play so well, because they play so well in a tandem, when you have a 2-quarterback system, being able to play both people and play well and good on the team, right? You have a really short quarterback and a really tall quarterback. Throw the ball 2 totally different ways.
And the important thing with having 2 quarterbacks who only throw the ball 4 or 5 times is that make sure you don't throw any interceptions, make any mistakes. When you only throw the ball 4 or 5 times, don't make mistakes, and they didn't. They did a good job with the little pass plays they had. But let's talk about the passing game on the other side. Michael Hill Jr., what a night from him. 330 yards passing, I believe, maybe a little bit more than that. I mean, an unbelievable game. But Braden, most of that came in the second half.
Yeah, I would argue, most of it came in the fourth quarter, which is too little too late. If you're Merrillville, you can compete in 6A. We just saw it, 35-21. That's not something to hang your heads against Crown Point. But if you throw the ball a little earlier in the game, maybe that's a closer game.
And you say 35-21, again, it was really only one good half of football Merrillville played. What if they played 2 good halves of football? This game, we might be going to overtime right now if Merrillville played a full 4 quarters.
Yeah, and I think the evolution of this team so far has been playing 1 good quarter against Loyola, then coming here playing a full good half of football. I think that second half was really great for Merrillville. Maybe they go in next week and we might see a full good game out of Merrillville.
And then on the ground game, everything that we've been talking about all week, all game, pregame, incredible. But, for me, it's the passing game on the Merrillville side. But let's talk about the run game. 300-plus rushing yards from the Bulldogs. Incredible night on the ground. Coach Buzz might have something to say about that. Our own Cameron Qualls with him on the field.
I'm here with head coach Buzz. Coach, decisive win tonight. Many people had you guys losing or this being a way closer game than it was. What were the key factors to this game and taking home the win?
Well, we just play Bulldog football. We don't care what everyone else says. We ignore the noise outside, and our guys come up. And I don't think it was our best game by far, but it was good enough to beat a very, very talented team.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach.
That's it. I came all the way over here for that. I got nothing else. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
Oh, Coach Buzz, what a personality. I came all the way over here just for that. Oh, man, a man that really rarely shows emotion, man. That's a blooper moment that might go in a reel sometime at the end of the year. Thank you to Coach Buzz for that interview. Good job,
I think
Cameron
also
Qualls.
what he said, right, playing Bulldog football, then also adding in there that it wasn't their best game. I thought they played a rather good game, especially on the ground.
That's Coach Buzz's standards right there, that they want more than just a 14-point win against the second-best team in the DAC. They want more than that. But a great game played by the Bulldogs tonight, 14-point win. Really couldn't have done much more. I think just stopping the passing game, that could be a cause for concern coming up with Lake Central and Michigan City and LaPorte and Valpo coming up in the next few games.
Yeah, if you think about it, most of the plays they were making in the passing game were after the receiver had caught the ball playing in zone coverage. A lot of room for passes to be thrown. Maybe we see a switch to man, or maybe it's just not up to the talent of the DBs and safeties to play man coverage.
I think a lot of work to be done in that defensive back room. I think one good hope about the defensive back room, Dominic Finn. He was laying the wood tonight. He was hitting really hard tonight, and he had a great hit down there on the sideline with, I believe it was Kelly down there. It was the tight end down there on the goal line. Had a great hit, jarred the ball loose. Dominic Finn, he's I would say, honestly, the only lone bright spot on that defensive back room.
I think Griffin Van Tichel, his ability to stop the run, but in coverage, he got burned down here on the near side in the fourth quarter. I think that is going to be a cause for concern for Buzz. The speed off the line, right? We saw Carson Cavalcante get burned on that one to Smoot that got was thrown over his head. but just the speed of these DBs could be a problem later in the future.
And we came back to it at halftime, but way back in the first quarter, Smoot burned Biasi down the middle of the field, and Hill, in one of their very few passing plays in the first half, overthrew him. He overthrew him, and, I mean, where would we be? Again, one touchdown game. Merrillville might have the lead if they were passing in the first half. Could have been a lot different game if Merrillville was passing in the first half.
Yeah, and, I mean, you put it perfectly. I think that's the only way to put it. But looking ahead, Lake Central, do we see, I mean, they're a weaker team in the DAC. Cam Reddick is their quarterback, been their quarterback for, I think, last year and now this year. Do we see that passing defense improve? Would you like to see more of a man look, or would you like to keep them in that 3-3-5 zone look?
I mean, if I'm Lake Central, I'm watching all of those pass plays from Merrillville at practice on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, leading up to this game. I'm seeing what worked, what didn't. I mean, really nothing did not work on passing the ball with Merrillville. So I think anything that worked, which was basically everything, look at it, study it, what were they playing in defense, and make sure to go after them, because I think Lake Central, a potential trap game, Braden.
Yeah, and I think a rivalry game, you're going into their stadium, which is called the Boneyard. It's laid in the ground, underground, and it's a loud place to play.
Loud place to play, and tonight was also a loud place to play. The Crown Point Bulldogs get the job done, beating the Merrillville Pirates 35-21. They move to 3-0 on the season, 1-0 in the DAC. The Pirates move down to 1-2, 0-1 in the DAC. I would like to thank everyone on our crew tonight, Trent Jocelyn, Owen Evener, everyone working our cameras tonight, and of course, Braden Zamoyski. This is Gabe Trevino saying good night from Crown Point.